Okay. We should be back. Are we back? Tell me we are back. Yes, it looks like we are. Okie dokies, let's... Never dated, that's how you avoid bad dates. Never had a girlfriend either. Sure, I believe you, Auntie. Sometimes you don't go on that day. Yeah. I'll be your punching bag for one blanket. You are never getting that blanket. 0. Give up. Give up. Give up! Let's play the letter. Let's hope it gets spooky. I mean, the spooks are so good in the letter. I just feel like they don't happen enough. They just don't happen enough. You know what I mean? I don't know where to put our stuff again. Why you no capture? Why you capture? Huh? Swear to God. Oh, did I have to do... I think I had to do, not display capture. That's right, I remember that. I had to do that. And I think I had to move chat up here. And it can hide up there. Oh, look, the Guild 3! I hope it's fun. Okay. I will never give up. You won't get it. How good I was worried it was a card. No, it's not the card, Cheng. Because I was playing other games fine. It's just sometimes OBS doesn't like to capture games. It's annoying. It's just AMD. AMD's fine, okay? I don't... Wow, we're just jumping right into it. Ah, fuck, my face is in the way. Are you now not going to capture? Are you fucking serious? You guys? Ah! There! Jeez. I've had a good NVIDIA build and I've had a good AMD build, so I like both. I'm not a fangirl either. We're going to play Zachary now. The pleasant aroma hits me long before I cross the threshold. Faint but light and warm, a reminder of what home is. Pa's stern but commending gaze, Ma's tender smiles, the sunlight filtering through the eaves in the morning, and the distinct smell of cinnamon and vanilla as it drifts through the air every time something cooks from the room. The room, our room, Ma and Pa's pride and joy. My sister and I too, eventually. But we ain't allowed there. Not yet. Not until we're taller or older. Not until we've learned how to take care of ourselves and not burn our hands or reach the cupboards without having to be lifted.
But a little peek wouldn't hurt, yeah?
Yeah? Floorboards are cold under my feet more than it usually is. The wall's more forbidding than what I'm used to. Farther and farther the room goes. Ma's singing ceases and Pa?
No, please wait. I'll be good. I'll sleep on time. Don't go!
I can't hear Pa. Not above the ruckus clanging and deafening roar of gunshots, nor the screams replacing the comforting soft melodies. There's only the blinding fear When my foot slips, the red sea that catches me is bitter and frigid, but the blood that drips in my hand is warm, warm, warm. It ain't my blood. The walls tumble and everything goes quiet. Ellipses. Yes, need to get Divinity for a co-op. I'm tempted, because I watched a couple of streams of people playing Divinity and it looked fun. It looked really good. Nothing works for her today, it's true. So what's this game again? Family Shooting Simulator? What? It's the letter. It's spooky. Well, it's a lot of reading and some spooky, like 10% spooky. It's the Love Triangle Simulator. Yeah, that's what John Wolfe said when I was talking to him on Twitter about it. He was like, yeah, it basically just turns into a Love Triangle Simulator. Like, great. Takes a few moments for everything to fall into place, for my eyes to adjust to the relative darkness of the room. Despite the pleasant chill the AC brings, my shirt is clinging tightly to me, and my blanket a tangled mess around my throat. Morning has not even arrived, and yet...
Way too early for this thing, man.
And too long. Too long since the last I woke up drenched in my own sweat, head littered with thoughts that are gone as soon as my eyes open. All too often, only imprints and brief images are left to haunt me for the rest of the day or until my mind forgets about it. Yeah, whichever comes first. Yet, vivid or not, what little I can remember does not matter. Regardless, the desperation sticks, clawing up, pushing, urging me to relive every moment, every sensation, and... There's a twinkle in Ma's eyes when she looks up from her work, flour dusting her nose and cheeks. The scent of freshly baked bread wafts from the oven as soon as Pa opens it, and the homely fragrance of honey fills the room. He reaches up to wipe the small beads of sweat away from his forehead, before gesturing for me to come closer the moment he spots me on my little hiding place behind the door. I expected him to be angry, but his pat on my back when I come within arm's reach is encouraging enough. I have to taste these first before I put it up for sale tomorrow. You up for it, little man? Is it good enough? A knock cuts through the air before I can answer. Sharp, heavy, demanding, familiar. So distantly familiar. Ma ushers me out of the kitchen when Pa moves to answer it. But I know what waits outside. The taste of blood in my mouth sends an unpleasant churning in my gut. Ma's apron crinkles under my tight grip. Something snaps back into place. Your voice is perfect for reading? Nah, I don't think so. I think I have a very squeaky voice. Yeah, you're gonna take a nap? I'm gonna help you nap, fresh boy. Travis sleepover and Maddie just reads us bedtime stories. That would be super fun, actually. We all had like a group meetup and we all got in our PJs and had a slumber party. So that was a tangled, moist mess around her throat. Mega. Hi. The knock scared the shit out of you? Jesus, Chungy, you're jumpier than I am now. My bed remains in utter disarray. The walls still need a new paint job, and the wall clock ticking opposite my bed is as unsettling as ever. Open the fucking door! Why are you sitting there? Ash is right. I should have already replaced that when I had the chance.
You're no longer there, Zachary. Here and there are miles apart. Calm down.
Unless
Breathe.
it wasn't the door. I thought it was a knock at the door. Pressure my own fingers against my temple is a welcome sensation over the anxiety gripping me. Never really did anything to stave off the headaches, sure to follow after this before, but it grounds me. Little reminder that I'm safe, away from the place I once called home, from Ma and Pa's. The urgency with each rap that falls finally chases away the ghosts threatening to hang around. Open the door! Why are you sitting there? Why anyone thinks it's a good idea to knock at someone else's door this way confuses me. Nana would chase them all away with the broom if she was here. But no matter, it's a welcome break from the thoughts about to take morbid turn if left festering. My god. It's probably just Ash anyway, looking for a place to crash. Looking for a place to crash. Wonder of wonders why he's bothering with the courtesy when he never did so before. Even with that hunch, though, habit compels me to check who it is first through the peephole. Better safe than sorry, they say. Except the person that greets me on their side ain't him. Unless his hair grew longer overnight and started wearing a ponytail, of course, which I highly doubt will happen anytime soon, no matter how funny that looks in my head. I waste no time opening the latches.
Isabella, it's late.
What the fuck's she doing here? Booty call. Feels like you're listening to a creepypasta? Well, it kind of is, I guess. A very long-winded one. They're loud and realistic. Yeah, that's true, actually. They're pretty loud. Ain't no fucking... You be trying to sleep here, woman. Something I can't pinpoint in her eyes when she looks up. Her face is pallid shade, shoulders tense, breathing heavily, and uncontrollable shaking in her hands she's trying to hold back. Hide, if I didn't know any better.
Hey, Zach. Sorry, I know it's weird for me to show up at this hour, but you are the closest to my office, and...
No, it's perfectly fine. I'm not really working on anything right now. Do you want to come in?
Is it all right? I know you should be sleeping at this hour, but I thought... I'm sorry, I just thought... I have no idea why I went here. My feet just moved on their own after I got out of the office, and sorry.
She trails off, her voice lost in the muggy night air. I wait for her to say more, but instead... Oh, excuse me. Her only response is a downward shift of her gaze, back to her still trembling hands, if the motion alone is enough of an explanation. A minuscule gesture. Easy to miss if one is not paying attention. But for someone who has seen the same expression on the mirror, done the same thing too many times when night terrors are inevitable, it is not.
Hey, don't worry about it. At least you not. Ash just barges in and crashes on the couch whenever he feels like it.
He doesn't have a couch, he just has a chair. That doesn't look comfy to crash on.
I swear that guy is one fine hairline away from being a criminal. Besides, you already know you can count on me whenever.
Without waiting for her answer, I step away from the door and saunter over the kitchenette. After a few good seconds, only the clinking of plates can be heard above the constant tick-tock. Late as I may be for a snack, the familiar motions keep me occupied, steering my mind away from dangerous thoughts. Isabella's company is not unwelcome either. Whatever her reasons for showing up here at such an hour, it doesn't matter. I'll be damned if I turn her way, frazzled as she is. The door clicks shut behind her when she finally enters, feet scuffling softly against the tiled floor. In all the years I've known her, she's never once lost her ever upbeat spirit. Yet in this particular moment, as she stands in my doorway holding her arms close to herself, it's as if I'm looking at someone completely withdrawn from the person I've come to know all these years.
Do you want to drink or eat anything?
BP! Coming into the house! Ah, shit, that's all over my face, thanks. How's it going, BP?
I haven't restocked my food stash yet, so ingredients may be a bit limited. But I'm sure I can whip something up with what I have here.
Just water will do, please. Thanks, Zach.
What are you talking about, she thick? She doesn't look thick at all.
What? No additional food requests? That's new. I'll put something together for you anyway. Feel free to make yourself at home.
I'm annoyed, BP. I've tried to play 2 games today and none of them worked. I got Home Sweet Home, it wouldn't launch. Then we got through the first chapter, Stories Untold, and the second one wouldn't work, it wouldn't load. So then I just gave in and launched this game up. That was like 15 minutes ago, so... Not as thick as you, Maddie, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I've had really fucking bad luck today.
You ain't exactly a new visitor here. Although my room's not at its most presentable right now. Sorry. New freelance gigs and such. Didn't have time to fix things up here lately.
It's okay. I don't mind.
Usually she'd have something more to say about that. A witty remark to provoke a laughter or two. Well, it's obvious that she's not in the mood for that. I don't know why you're having such a hard time grasping that she's, like, in a mood. Nothing from her this time. Only a weak smile before she takes a seat on the couch, and a silence that stretches out until what we have left hanging feels disconcerting. Before everything turns stifling and awkward, I continue talking, if only to keep the dead air at bay. How's one supposed to keep a conversation going when the person you're talking to is like this?
Anyway, Gigs,
You could ask her what's wrong.
can you believe this one client we got? Boss had all my scheduled shoots shifted after they caught wind of this couple buying a new property. Man, must be nice to have all the money in the world. The world itself moves for you, huh?
She's curled up on one side of the couch and hugging her knees close when I bring the tray carrying the sandwiches and water she requested. I want a sandwich. I'm always hungry when I stream. She starts to straighten up as I'm unloading the contents, but pauses as soon as I hold up my hand in a halting gesture.
You're a guest. Didn't I say you're free to make yourself at home? Here's your water. Careful.
With tremor in her hands, though lighter now, still hasn't subsided when she reaches out for the glass. I give her a questioning look, but she's quick to avert her eyes, keeping herself occupied by taking small gulps of water. Or maybe she just doesn't want me asking questions. Worrying. I'm set and lost for words, this bout of quiet not normally present in our chats. Even the creaking of the old chair when I casually take a seat is a welcome break. Although the company's familiar, this has gone way past unnerving.
What happened? Overtime at work?
She doesn't answer immediately. Another gulp drains her glass of its remaining contents. One would think it would be enough to help her recover, yet she doesn't lose her taut grip on the glass as she cradles it on her lap. Bacon pizza taco. Ah, oh, yes. I want that in my mouth. Her eyes take an unfocused gaze, and she speaks again.
Yeah. Boss handed me extra work today. After what happened. To Rose.
Rose? Why do I feel like you've mentioned her before? Sorry, I'm better with remembering faces than names.
She was my coworker. That will take some getting used to. I was just talking to her the other day.
Was? Did she resign or something? I think I'm missing a few details here, Bella.
You've never met her. I think I did mention her once, or twice. It doesn't matter. You probably heard her name recently from the news than me.
Something clicks. A little memory from the night before. The bright red light from the dark room, the strong order of a stop bath, the television's barely audible murmur in the background, and the glimpse of a bloody room. The news is everywhere, even in the morning that follows. I just didn't think its effects would strike someone this close to me.
Oh. Damn. I didn't mean to bring that up.
No, like I said, it'll take some getting used to, but it'll get better. I hope things might become a little busier for me, though. She left a lot of things unfinished, and I'm one of the few people in the office who knows how she works. Boss thinks the transition will be easier if I handle it.
That explains it. Well, just don't forget you still need rest. Even the most hard-working people I know don't keep hours as late as this. Hell, the subway stopped running hours ago. Crime rate might be lower here than most places, but that doesn't mean you can walk around freely in the middle of the night.
What is thick, tasty, good chili cheese? Ugh,
It's just for today.
cheese. Oh.
Still a good thing you dropped by here first. I'm not just about to let you walk out here alone, especially not in the middle of the night. Who knows what else could happen? I'm not saying you should go right now, but I could accompany you home if you...
No! Wait, please!
The vehement tension in her voice makes me pause, as in this instant the mask she's been keeping up falls apart, if only for a short while. Right then and there, I understood what's hiding behind her unfocused stare from the moment she arrived. Fear. Pure, unadulterated fear. It's disturbing to see such marring her usual upbeat countenance. With a sigh, I cross the small distance separating us and kneel in front of her. She doesn't flinch when I do so. However, the way she appears to make herself smaller against the couch is telling enough.
Bella, this ain't just about your coworker, is it? What is it really about? I'm all ears.
Sound of glass shattering rents through the air as soon as her hold on it loosens. In the span of a few seconds, her breathing grows labored.
I don't know anymore.
She clasps her hands over her ears, pressing her tightly against the side of her head. Her voice grows weaker with each word, each plea coming out of her mouth.
Please don't leave me alone. I don't want to be alone right now. I can't shake it off. Everywhere's not safe and...
Alright, Isabella. Look at me. Look at me.
My hands are firm on her shoulder when I pull her up to look at me. It takes every force of will to ignore the terror in her eyes in favor of taking control of the situation. Too close, too similar.
Breathe. Breathe. You're safe here. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Stay in the present. I'm here. No one's gonna hurt you. Do you want to talk about it?
The force which she shakes her head is enough reason to drop the topic altogether.
No more. Please. No more. I don't want to remember anymore.
Kate, no more talking. I won't ask anymore. Can I get you anything? Another glass of water? I think I have a tub of that pistachio ice cream you love so much. We're gonna have to clean this mess first. Will you be fine on your own for a little while?
She nods lightly before retreating into herself again. No more words exchanged after that, and I take that as my cue to start cleaning the shards, littering the floor before either one of us gets hurt. Quiet hum of the AC is a pleasant distraction as I go over the menial task, more so than her rigid draws of breath or my little feeble attempts to tell a quick story or two. But the latter does the trick. And soon enough she's already drifted off by the time I return with the promised glass of water, her chest rising and falling in steady rhythm, the strain on her shoulders gone. Frankly, I've never seen her this still. She mumbles something I don't quite catch when I carry her to the empty bed and hugs herself tighter against the mess of blankets. In spite of the fact she appears relaxed, a small frown on her face hasn't quite disappeared. Whatever happened to her won't be leaving her anytime soon. But for her sake, I hope it won't stay long with her. Because no matter what promises I made, this is the kind of fear no person could shield her from. I should know. There are still questions left to be answered. But this late hour, coupled with the sudden exhaustion, made my old couch a more comfortable bed than it typically is. Darkness immediately welcomes me as soon as my head hits my makeshift pillow. I want to see what's going on here. Yeah, damn, he likes Isabella. And not Luke, which is good. And not Marianne. Has he met her yet? I don't remember. Interesting. Ha! Look at all this crap. So that's October 25th. Okay. I don't want to read all this. That's too much reading. I'm already reading enough. I can only wish the dreams will keep at a distance for now, for both of us. October 25th, Tuesday. First few notes, while mouth-rolled, are enough to wake me. In the end, it became one of those nights when sleep passes like a blink and is plagued with vague, fuzzy thoughts. I lift a hand to rub away the drowsiness from my eyes, although it does little to relieve the gritty, burning sensation from my eyelids. Outside, the sun has yet to peek over the horizon, but night has already given way to the cool morning light, washing everything in subtle gray hues. At this hour, the entire city remains unstirring. Ordinarily, waking up before my own alarm means abusing the snooze button, twice or thrice just to catch those precious few extra minutes of sleep. But the persistent ringing makes it impossible now.
This better be good.
Ruggly eyes scramble for the bag sitting at the foot of the bed. Ringing still hasn't stopped as I fish the phone out, and Ashton's name flashes brightly on the screen when I turn it on. Must be pretty urgent, as he hasn't dropped the call yet.
Took you long enough, Z-Man.
Ashton, it's 6 in the morning. The sun hasn't even risen. Hell, my brain ain't even awake yet. Stop calling me Z-Man.
It's 20 past 6, Zach.
I fucking hate this guy.
You want to talk? Give me back my 5 extra minutes, Ash. I want my sleep.
Hey, don't make fun of me. I can be a more person too if I want to.
What's this all really about? You don't usually make calls around this hour. Is the world ending today?
Sorry about that. Becca rang me up a few minutes ago looking for Isabella. Said she didn't show up in her own apartment last night. We both tried calling, but her phone seems to be off. Do you have any idea where...
I should have known you two would come looking for her first thing in the morning.
He's gonna be like, yeah, she's over at my place. She's sleeping in my bed right now.
Not a laughing matter, Zach. You can't really let your guard down with everything that's happened here recently. You've heard about the Cooper woman from the news. Everyone in the precinct has been restless ever since the incident the other day.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Sharp objects? Yeah, I'm glad they got rid of that. Never know what's gonna happen in this thrilling tale. Where's Shishnu, or whatever it was? Oh, the god of bloodlust you were telling me about?
Listen, Ash, about Bella.
I let my voice trail off, unsure of how to go about recounting last night. Should even say anything to him. He might be a close friend, but at the end of the day, whatever's bothering her ain't mine to speak of in the first place. On the bed, Isabella remains as still as when I transferred her the night before. Sometime during her sleep, she pulled up a blanket over herself and tucked into it comfortably. Like this, it's easy to forget the horror in her eyes or how much her hands and lips trembled. Save for her firm grip on the edge of the cover, she appears nearly as normal as she would any other day. Almost.
I'm not really sure how to go about this while being...
Zach, what about her?
Something, the worry, the concern, must have surfaced in my tone because his own shifts then. Carefully, as if he is preparing for the worst.
Look, you don't have to worry about her. She's with me right now. Since last night, in fact.
Oh, why didn't you just say so earlier?
She kinda knocked in the middle of the night. I couldn't possibly wake you two over that. And with how things are when she arrived, I thought it'd be best if I let her rest first. I just wasn't expecting people would be looking for her before the rooster even crows.
You could have at least called her something. Becca's beside herself with worry when she found out. You know how much she frets about the smallest stuff.
Wow, don't get so
I
pissed.
know,
Jesus.
I know. I'm sorry. That was a lapse on my part. And I just didn't think... Okay, you know what? Rebecca's worries ain't completely baseless. Isabella hasn't been her usual self since the movie. Maybe even before that. I don't know if I should be opening my mouth about this, but Bella didn't outright say I shouldn't, so...
So something's wrong then?
I'm not quite sure, to be completely honest. I couldn't get the story out of her.
Really? I thought you had learned something from me by now.
That's not it. Ash, when she appeared at my doorstep last night, she was shaking, and when I tried to ask her about it, she just panicked. Had this frightened look on her face. I'd be surprised if this was the first time I've seen it, but it ain't. Dude, the first time, she was screaming.
First time? When was this? You weren't talking about the thing in the movie house, are you? Because that was just us fooling around. Granted, I think I went overboard with the joke, but...
No, it happened the day after. When she invited us to lunch, you weren't there. We were walking one second, and then the next, she's crying out. I'll be straight with you. That scared me
Your friend's
shitless.
losing her mind. Bothered him at the way he fell silent after his telling. But whatever his opinion, it stays absent from his voice when he speaks again. He's always been good with that, and hiding what he thinks.
Did she say anything else?
Nothing. Won't tell me anything aside from a few vague words. I didn't want to push it.
Where is she? Is she still sleeping?
Right here with me, still sleeping. Should I wake her up or something? Let her know you guys are looking for her?
No need. Let her rest. I'll drop by in a few.
Today? Don't you have work at this time? I mean, I can drop her off home myself before meeting my client later.
Look who's talking.
My schedule's flexible, Ash. Last time I checked, you're the one who didn't have that luxury. How on earth do you think I'm able to tag along when you need me?
It's not completely out of the way.
They live on the other side of the town from you, Ash. Your definition of out of the way is a little screwed up, you know.
I think it's 'cause he likes her.
It's fine. I have some things I need to do anyway. I'll call you back. I've got to let Becca know that Scared Cat's fine. Bye.
Drops the call before I can even get a word in. For several minutes after, I find myself simply listening as the rest of Luxborn rouses. the increasing sound of passing traffic, the bustle of nearby shops prepping for the day, and the growing clamor of the people while they go about their morning. Not the most soothing sounds to hear following a troubled night, but the routine puts me at ease nevertheless. What's comforting, what's safe, what I'm used to. Nearby, Isabella shifts but doesn't wake, blissfully unaware as the city slowly stirs itself back to life. Was her night as restless as the one I had? Were her dreams as lucid? In hushed moments like this, I envy her. Unreasonable, probably a little unfair to say such in light of last night. Yeah, no fog. Only forgetting is as easy as breathing. Small yawn escapes me when I rise from the couch to stretch. Luckily, the short conversation with Ash was effectively driven away any will to go back to bed. I still have a day to get through, despite the proverbial ghosts hanging around. The orange bottle sitting at the edge of my table is reassuring against my palm the instant I pick it up. The sterile odor of the capsules equally so. Heh. I love how they did a picture of that. Why? Yet the weight they carry is something I've never gotten used to. Years ago, I'd spend minutes, heck, even hours staring at a single pill prior to taking one in. So she said. Now it's just routine, a way to stave off the unwanted nightly visits. Although I don't think Dr. Navarro would be quite pleased if he finds out I'm relying on them again. I do owe him a visit regardless, especially after missing our appointments on purpose and ignoring his call for a week. Another sigh comes out, tired and weary, and then I pop the tablet into my mouth.
Zach? What time is it?
The bottom of my hand hits the table with more force than necessary. As much as I trust my friends, there are some things I'd rather keep to myself.
Morning, Bella. Did you sleep well?
She answers the question with a long, drawn-out yawn, one reminiscent of a child. A chuckle managed to come out of my mouth at the sight. In most manner, it's easy to mistake her for someone too young for responsibilities. Rude. Unexperienced and immature, even. Rude! Easy to forget that she was thrust into the role of an adult earlier than her own dreams can afford, to overlook how surprisingly observant she can be at times. Maybe not on the same level Ash exercises for his investigations, or Rebecca needs for her own work, but it's certainly enough to definitely put what she sees around her on canvas. And if the way her eyes flicker to the table in my hand says something, it is that I won't be able to avoid the question this time.
Only a little. I don't remember how I ended up on the bed,
I'll put
though.
you there, girl.
My doing. You didn't look very comfortable sleeping on the couch, all hunched up like that.
It would have been enough for something temporary. Sorry I stole your bed.
Hey, it doesn't matter. Besides, what kind of gentleman would I be if I leave a lady sleeping in such uncomfortable conditions? Not in this house. My nana would give me a tough scolding if I ever did that, I'm telling you.
Thanks a lot, Zach. I know I barged in at a very inconvenient time last night. I wasn't really thinking when I did, and...
Hey, it's cool, Bella. I ain't mad at you. That's what friends do. You guys are welcome here anytime. Although Ashton abuses the anytime part a lot, I don't really mind.
Tacos! I want tacos.
We might have less wiggle room if all four of us are present, considering the size of this place. But as long as no one makes anything explode, it's totally fine.
Fine or not, I still owe you one for last night's trouble, especially since you don't seem to be...
A concerned expression passes over her features as she spares another cursory glance over the table, back to the bottle holding every small piece of what keeps the bad memories at bay. The blood blooming over Pa's heart, the horrified look on Ma's face as she watches him fall lifeless to the ground, and every ounce of spite seeping from the stranger's smile. Ooh. You don't belong here. You monkeys don't belong here. Never stops, doesn't it?
Well, you don't seem to be feeling well. Let me know, okay? I'll make it up to you somehow.
You can make it up to me. How about that, by not talking so much? She makes a slight gesture with her head towards the bottle, asking a question without really asking. Adelaide has never been one of her greatest assets, but right now even Ash would have been amazed, if not at a loss of words at that. She has left it up to me whether I'll ever give her the response she wants to hear or not. Well, clever coming from her if anyone would ask me. Play it off, tell the truth. Tell the truth. But it's never easy, ain't it? Talking about my own problems, that is. It will never be, not by a long shot. Not when I have let it stay this way for so long. I realized that long ago when the wounds are still fresh and the dreams are nightly occurrence, can't force stuff to get better and move on to better things. It is what's normal now and I can only cope. Question in her eyes may be unwarranted, but simply out of curiosity and sincere concern for a friend. I don't owe her an explanation, in fact. But out of all people I keep close in my life, she is probably one of the very few who perhaps I can trust with this. Maybe she won't understand entirely, I can never hope she will. No, never to the full extent. That alone is expecting too much of her and giving too much of what I can. However, for all her shortcomings, I know she'll hear me out. And that is all I can ask of her.
My bad. I was kinda hoping you wouldn't have seen me with these.
Pills rattle lightly against the container when I gently set it back to its usual place. Always the small area closest to my laptop, near the right hand. Within reach whenever, and a quiet reminder of what I shouldn't miss every day.
What? Oh, is it bad? I was just thinking that maybe it's a cold like Becca's.
Take pills for your cold? In a pill
Do
bottle?
you need me to get anything from the store? Soup or something? There's one nearby, right? I can run real quick and...
No, nothing of that sort. I'm perfectly healthy right now. It's really difficult to say, but can you promise me you'll listen at least?
What is this about, Zach?
I should have been upfront with you about this a long time ago. But Ashton found out without me telling him anything. But you already know how that guy is. Can't hide anything from him.
If it's something you're having trouble saying, you don't have to force yourself to tell me. I'll forget I ever saw anything and won't ask questions. Promise.
No, I need to get this off my chest eventually. Besides, we're already here. Might as well finish what I started
Yeah,
here.
you better finish.
If you say so.
She takes a seat on the couch, her posture easy and open, and her smile honest. It's as if this is just a simple talk between two friends on a regular day. I like how she's perfectly fine now after the night before. Has Zach gotten anyone killed yet? Only one person's died. Right? I think, just Rose has died. It's far from one, but her unreserved air is enough to stamp out the twinge of unease that threatens to come up.
Let's hear it then.
And she does. True to her words, she listens while the story spills out of my mouth of my ma and pa, that little old diner across the pond, and what it left in me that day. Can't recall most of it now, my own account jagged, with few missing details here and there. The passing years have eroded most of my recollection of the whole incident. All except for that one moment in the kitchen. The ringing of gunshots are as vivid as it sounded that day. Even Ma's hysterical screams the moment Pa's body hit the floor motionless, his lifeblood flowing out from under him. And the gunman, he was smiling. He was smiling when Pa opened the door to welcome him. He was smiling when he put a bullet to Pa's chest and Ma's head. I've heard stories of how the world can be a cruel place for people like us before. Never believed until that moment.
Nan and Gran took us right after that. Sis and I flew straight to New Jersey as soon as they heard the news.
More deaths, please. I know, me too. I want people to die. Why aren't people dying?
A few days after, Ma and Pa were laid to rest.
I want people to die.
We have a new home a continent away. I didn't even get the chance to take my favorite pillow with me. They said something about the change of environment will be good for us. They had no idea the different kind of ghosts would follow me here.
Yeah, that would definitely fuck you up, though. Unexpected questions, mostly those brimming with childlike curiosity, and maybe some that are a little too hard to answer. But to her credit, she just sat there, lent her ears, and looked at me with no expectations or unnecessary judgment in her eyes. She appears wiser and older like this, easier to see the breadwinner in her. Her younger siblings are lucky to have her. When I'm done, after everything's been said, she wraps her arms around me. A bit awkward considering the age gap in our heights, but it gets her sentiment across. But it's difficult to answer this in kind, if I'm even supposed to reciprocate the gesture, even my earlier apprehension. She pulls away shortly with a smile on her face. Not the reaction I braced myself for, but it's obviously better than what I imagined.
Are you not gonna say anything?
Am I supposed to say anything after? Like, apologize or something? I don't think that's very appropriate, but if you want to hear one, I can think of something real quick.
Could murder some tacos? Why would you murder tacos? Don't murder tacos. You're supposed to give them to me.
Not really.
That's what you're supposed
Other
to
people
do.
have something to say after usually. And they're not necessarily nice either.
Oh? Okay then. I won't. I can't think of something anyway. Sorry. I'm not very good with this. Who else knows, by the way?
My older sister, grandparents, and just Ash and you for now. Maybe I think I should tell Rebecca too, but...
Why would you tell Rebecca? I don't like her.
But not right now?
It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, not right now. When I'm ready. Like today.
I'm sure she'll be willing to hear you out once you do.
I don't doubt she will. I'm more afraid of how she'll react after. One step at a time, yeah?
I keep forgetting I can't click the icons at the bottom. Oh, down here? Our relationship. Whoa! It's almost maxed out. Are they gonna bone?
Whew. Surprisingly, it feels good to get that one out of my chest. I was a little afraid you'd be angrier. I didn't tell you earlier than today.
What the hell is that? Oh, no! I don't want spoilers.
I'm not angry. I'm just surprised. You didn't look like it. I wouldn't have suspected.
Didn't look like what?
I suppose that's how it often is, isn't it? We all have our... what's the word Becca uses? Inner demons?
Kidding.
But this is something personal to you. I understand why you'd rather have a few people know.
That too. Well, these past few weeks haven't been easy for you. I didn't want to add that. Not after last night.
Something passes in her face, brief, fleeting, and disappears right before I can recognize what it is.
You okay?
Yep, no worries. I'll be fine. Look, about last night... Never mind. This isn't a good time. But don't lose sleep over this, alright? What's important is you got what you want to say out. And if you need me, I'll be here.
I should be relieved. Her words are more than reassuring to my ears. There should be comfort in hearing those alone, in knowing I have another person to rely on if things ever go bad. But somehow I find myself worrying more for her instead. I'll make another attempt to get the story out of her if I can. But this is a dance I know all too well, and with her, I doubt forcing her to say something would yield any results. As much as I want to imitate Ash, there's only so much I can that won't result in something a little over-disastrous. At best, she'll stop talking to me until a week passes. At worst, I'd rather not risk it. Never seen her that, I agree. Outright annoyed, maybe, and often directed at Ash, but never furious. What do they say about the happiest people when angered? Besides, it'd be unfair to her after a little chat.
So,
I want food.
then?
Tacos! She seemed relieved at the brisk change of subject, and as if it's been simply waiting for its cue all this time, her stomach rumbles at the mention of food. Rather loudly, as a matter of fact.
Alrighty, Missy. We're going to get some chow now.
That damn clock says noon at 6 a.m. I didn't even notice. That's annoying.
Better be quick, though. Can't have your stomach starting a revolution on us here.
Don't make fun of me! I'm not that hungry! Maybe a little. I didn't think I'd end up skipping dinner last night.
And now we have one starved stomach protesting. Sorry, it'll be nothing fancy, since I'm a little low on stocks. I should probably drop by the grocery store after the meeting this afternoon.
I can make a quick run for you if you want.
Nah, I've got enough to put together something nice here. Maybe. I could always improvise if we're missing an ingredient or two. It ain't like we're going for a Michelin 3-star status here. Also, didn't I say you're a guest? Is this a Filipino thing? Or just Rebecca rubbing off on you?
Soft laughter that comes from her doesn't quite reach her eyes. Neither, the answer is neither. Because if she stays idle, she'll remember.
On second thought, I might need a little help slicing up the potatoes while I prep the ham. You up for that?
What? Do you think instant noodles are all I'm
Yes.
about? I'll have you know, I can cook a mean paella with my eyes closed. All my siblings love it.
Sure you can. Come on. I think I know what we'll do with those spare ingredients.
Despite the massive effort to keep the mood light with small chatter, cooking ends up being a mostly quiet affair. Between us, the constant clapping of the knife against the board, the muffled noise from the television I left running, words have become surprisingly difficult to string together. Not entirely unusual, we've had moments like this before, but definitely unnerving with how things are now. She did not pronounce that correctly at all. Really? I don't even know what that is. What'd she say? Piely? I don't know what that is. My stomach doesn't have to be empty to make a lot of noise. Me too. Actually, my stomach makes more noise after I eat something. Really wish someone else would come knocking at the door. Wow, that's kind of mean. As pleasant as this is, breaking the ice or keeping a conversation going has never been my forte. That's always been Isabella's or Rebecca's department. Sometimes Ash's, although most coming from him border on awkward or embarrassing. Speaking of the guy, he never did call back, and I'm willing to bet my entire yearly salary that he fell right back to sleep. Yeah? She meant patella? I don't
Sorry,
know what that
Bella.
is.
Could you?
Only time it really makes noise is when it's full of bread or something like that. Yeah, me too. That or dairy. Yeah. My stomach gets very angry. What's patella? Is it like Nutella?
Yep, I got it. The potatoes are almost ready, by the way. I turned down the heat just in case. You might want to check on them, though. Hold on, I'll be right there. Sheesh, wait up. If you keep rapping at the door like that, you'll break it down. Ash.
Oh, good. You're awake.
Oh, it's Ash. Yeah, Ash has already welcomed himself in when I take my eyes away from the oven. He's never been really keen with the notion of courtesies after he's warmed up to you. This guy. All 13 of my locks he broke can attest to that. He's a good fellow, though. He breaks 13 of your locks? That's kind of fucking weird. Nutella is good. I like Nutella. It's a kneecap.
Don't you have work today?
I could ask the same of you. Hey, Izzy man.
You're late. Something came up? You need to drop the Z-Man. It's getting old.
Z-Man.
Sorry, I got caught up with something at the precinct on the way here. Had to attend to that first before things got out of hand. I'd tell you about it, but you know how it can be with those kinds of things. Later, maybe.
And you're here because...
What? I'm not allowed to say hello?
I doubt you're here because of that. And you're not answering my
These
question.
two are so annoying when they're together.
Ah, my bad. Forgot to mention that.
It looks like he owns a life-size Keyblade and a body pillow. He does. He totally does. It's like his fucking getup and that stupid chain. Oh, his chain on his pants. It's probably connected to like a Final Fantasy wallet or something.
He called earlier looking for you. Rebecca's worried because you didn't come home last night.
You could have called my cell instead.
You weren't picking up. Anyway, I'd really hate to cut this little get-together short, but I need to be somewhere else.
Okay, dickbag.
Come on, Isabella, let's get you home. I'll drop you off on
She
the way.
doesn't want to go. She's making breakfast.
Wait, we're going now?
He lightly claps a hand on her arm and begins ushering her out of the apartment, throwing a casual wave at me as they pass. What the fuck? You stealing my woman! You just swooped in and stole my woman! Isabella, on the other hand, doesn't appear too fond of the idea. And sure enough, before they can even cross the threshold, she puts a firm foot down and force alone enough to hold them both and catch a taller man off guard. Would have made for a funny picture. The way Ash almost crashes into her and Isabella giving him an indignant pout over her shoulder. Surprise and confusion are in his face all at once, two things that rarely ever grace it if he can help it. A rare moment, even for our small group. If only I had my camera with me. Dang, your camera's right there.
What is it?
Zach cooked something.
Is that what a hipster is? Weeaboo, yes. Hey, Dream Druid. You got it, yeah. I have a Zelda wallet, so... nerd. Yeah, weeaboo. Yeah, weebs are obsessed with anime and stuff. I used to be a weeb. Back in the day. Although not like body pillow crazy. Or it might be an emo thing. There's a razor in there. Whoa! You kids in this lingo. Well, this lingo's been around forever.
If
it's just food, I'll get you something on the way back.
Why is he being such a fucking dick?
But the food! It's Zach's cooking. Real delicious food that actually tastes like food. At least stay and have a bite, please. Zach, help me here.
These two, whenever they're in the same room, sometimes it feels like hurting a group of unruly kids instead of talking to two mature adults. I agree with that. They're annoying together. One moment they're engaged in pleasant chit-chat, the next they're bickering over a minor issue. Frankly, if I didn't know any better and have an overactive imagination, I'd say there's something going on. Never mind how utterly impossible that idea is. Or it might just be me reading too much into things like always. I can already hear Ash's laughter if I so much as suggest such. This, however, I cooked up a feast.
I don't know about you two, but I think you guys should really
Yes.
stay. I've already made enough food for all of us, and it'd be a
He
waste.
should leave. I think Ash should leave. Because he's a dick. So, from weeb to dweeb. Yeah, basically. I'm a cartoon fan too, but pillows and stuff might be extreme. Yeah, there's a point where it gets way too much. I was never like that, but I used to watch a lot of anime, like all the time, basically. Now I don't touch it at all, honestly.
Why, I cooked up that special honey glazed ham you two keep on yapping about. Got some scalloped potatoes with onions and cheddar to go with it too.
I'm not a big fan of scalloped potatoes. That's like my least favorite potato. The oven timer dings! I shoot the two of them an apologetic look before sauntering over the kitchen, mittens in hand. The sweet smell of the glaze and salty tang of melted cheese wafts through the air as soon as I open the door and take out the two trays inside. The scent immediately fills the entire room, and even with the door and windows open, the mouth-watering aroma lingers. It's appealing enough that when I put the dishes down on the counter, another star-studded protest loudly, followed by a burst of laughter. My head snaps over the two of them, and I can't keep back a smile at the sight they make. Isabella's clinging to the doorframe for support, doubled over with breathless laughter. I love how she can be so happy and everything like that after last night, when she was literally mortified. Recover so fast. He made a Christmas dinner. He made a whole ham on whim. Yeah, he did. It's clear whose stomach that came from, and Isabella's not going to let him live this down.
You're in no place to reject an offer of free food, Frey.
I wasn't rejecting anything. Damn it, I just missed a meal, that's all.
Aw, he's flustered.
Shut it! Those guys at the precinct said it was urgent. Somebody has to be responsible for it.
Well, aren't you precious?
Right. You know, if you keep laughing like that, you'll burst.
I'm sure it won't be as bad as your stomach suddenly rumbling like a starved.
Aye, kiddos, play nice. Food's gonna get cold if we keep this up. Ash, you gonna stay?
Might as well, since Scaredy Cat's so hell-bent on staying.
Wow! Look at her face! I look at my food like that too. Mmm. I was trying to troll by calling anime a cartoon. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed your trolling. I am Setsuna? Never heard of that. God, they eat like pigs. There's just food all over their faces. We eventually settle down after the food has been served. The jobs replace another round of friendly chatter, mostly about what's on the news the night before. There is, however, a conscious effort to avoid mentioning what's currently on the headlines. The dead is never a good topic to talk over food in polite company, in this case in particular. New ones are too fresh, too soon. I'd likely avoid it as well if I was in her position, and someone I personally knew passed away in a gruesome manner like that. Though perhaps the closest we got to broaching the topic is when the infamous mansion is brought up again. But even then, we are careful, Ash and I. We keep the conversation light and avoid bringing up her late business partner. It's the least we could do.
The Wrights? Yeah, they're planning to move in soon. In fact, they already have a housewarming party planned.
Reminds me of the old Final Fantasy games. The soundtrack is amazing and plays like Chrono Trigger. Ah, that sounds fancy. Not really my kind of game, to be honest. But as long as you're enjoying it.
It's why they wanted us to rush the papers. They wanted to send the invitations out as soon as possible.
I just can't get over her face.
Oh, now I get it.
Get what?
Remember what I told you last night about the new clients?
Vaguely? Sorry, I was a little out of it yesterday. Was it the photo shoot?
Yep, it's actually for the one you sold.
Ermengarde.
Something.
Ermengarde.
When you put it that way, I suppose it makes sense why my boss wants me to prioritize the couple. They can have those documents rushed at just a snap of their fingers. Then they're more influential than I initially thought.
You said you didn't like turn-based games? Yeah, I don't. So probably no go for you. I had to have something to play until Evil Within 2. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. That reminds me, I still have to get through the first Evil Within. Ugh.
Man, I guess my boss is expecting a lot more from this project than I expected. Hope I can live up to it.
Ermengarde? Yeah, Ermengarde. What game is that? Legend of Zelda? Oh, Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I haven't touched that. I don't have the console. I want to play it.
Your photographs are more than good enough, Zach. You'd probably win an international award if you let yourself. Ma'am Hana's easy to please, too. As long as you're good at following instructions.
Easier said than done. Different clients have different tastes after all.
Still, a week? I don't think that's possible.
Their food, it looks like it's hollandaise sauce on it. It looks so good. I fucking love hollandaise sauce. We give you the star and you can skip the game, but the ending makes up for wonky gameplay. Oh yeah? It's good? It's good ending.
Now that you mentioned it, yeah. They wanted everything finished at the earliest. To be honest, it's not unheard of, but...
But it's still weird. Still weird, yeah?
Slip of the tongue. Still barely noticeable to someone who's already familiar with Ash's ways, yet in this moment it's impossible to miss. I shoot him a curious glance, but he ignores it, rather pointedly.
I can't exactly say it's like that, where I'm just the middleman after all. As much as I want to comment on it, I only know what's on the surface, not the in and outs. It's just that BRC and my boss are more hands-on with the legal stuff this time, despite having a separate department dedicated to it.
Maybe Mr. Wright helped with it too. They have their own legal team for this, don't they?
Well, they should have one. Especially for a big property like this.
They have, but like I said, it's off our hands. Rose and I don't handle this stuff in the office. If anything, to me, this just means I'll be able to send the rest of the funds to Papa's treatment earlier.
I guess that makes a whole lot of sense. Officially off our instant noodle diet, aren't we?
Ash, has anyone ever told you that you have an uncanny way of ruining the mood?
What? I was just saying. A few more months of stuffing your face with those, and I'm sure you'll start to look like a noodle cup. That's a pretty picture.
At least I don't live off convenience store food. Or make poor, unassuming pressure cookers explode.
What? How did you... Oh, come on, Zach.
Sorry, it just came up while we were cooking earlier.
I'm impressed, Ashton Frey. You even made it to the news.
A one-time thing. And it wasn't as big as you seem to be imagining.
Oh, sure. Let's all pretend that one time you almost set my apartment on fire didn't happen too.
Hey, that was an accident.
You were making a salad, Ash.
Can we please move on to a different topic?
It helps the casual talk, the harmless teasing, the mundane stories interesting enough to let time pass unnoticed. By the time lunch ends, the shadows are no longer at forefront of my mind. It's the same for Isabella. For whatever troubles her, I can never tell. These things, the anxiety, the fear, they ain't easily seen, ain't easily forgotten after all.
You go on ahead. I've got a few things I need to ask Zach. I'll be downstairs in a minute.
Confusion briefly flashes in her eyes as she catches the keys he tossed over, but he doesn't give her an answer and waits for her to go ahead.
How sure are you I won't be driving away with your Shirley?
Man, even though I'm a pasta lover, I don't like instant noodles. They taste too much like plastic to me. I get random cravings for them. I think it's just because of all the salt. I like the Japanese ones. I get Ichiban. It's a classic.
You don't even have a license. Do you even know how to?
Papa taught me how. I'm probably a better driver than you. See you later, Zach. Thanks for the food.
Always has to have the last word, don't you?
You're welcome. I'll send you the recipe for the potatoes tonight.
Grin is back on her face when she leaves and closes the door behind her. For a little while after we're left alone, Ash goes wholly quiet, listening, waiting for her remaining footsteps in the hall to fade. The earlier amusement is gone from his face, replaced by what I can only describe as trepidation. I know that look all too well. When he's like this, he's expecting shit about to go down at some point soon.
That wasn't very nice, Ash. What was that with Isabella earlier? You're usually subtler with your questions.
They hired you.
Hired me who? Don't change the subject yet. What's really going on here?
The Wrights. Luke and Hannah Wright. You said your next gig is with them.
Is that what this is all about?
Just be careful around them. You have no idea what you're dealing with when it comes to that couple.
He knows them. Oh.
I'd rather you stay as far away from them as possible, but you're already here. Isabella's their real estate agent. Seriously, of all the people in Luxburn.
Okay. I guess I'll just have to take your word for it.
Pasta is definitely better than instant noodles. I will agree to that. He nods, claps a comforting hand on my back, and turns to leave without another word. He's never been good with those. More often, he fumbles with what he wants to say, but his actions alone are enough to tell me how grateful he is for the trust. He reaches for the knob as soon as he gets to the door, but doesn't turn it. Instead, he looks back and gestures with his head towards the table. I don't need to pause line of sight to know what he's going to ask about, likely taking notice of it the moment he entered the room.
You back on those? I haven't seen you taking them in a year.
Yeah, I kinda had to. It got worse after the film fest. The dreams, that is. I don't think I'll be doing that again anytime soon.
Heard about that. Don't drop it, though. You don't want Becca scolding you. She actually enjoyed the movie you made, and she's hard to please. Consider that a small victory.
You don't have to tell me. She already did. Rebecca and Bella both gave me an earful after I said the opposite. Promised them I wouldn't, but you can never tell.
Has any character died in this playthrough yet? Nah, just one person died. Rose did. But I didn't think she's not a playable character. So, everyone's still alive.
Hopefully, once I feel better, I'll be able to think about it properly. Speaking of Bella, she didn't open up to me, but maybe with you and Rebecca.
Yeah, I'll try. I can't promise anything, but I'll talk to her.
Thanks. That's all I'm asking.
This time, when he reaches for the door, he lets it close fully behind him without glancing back. A mild draft sweeps into the room as I close the door behind him, slightly disturbing the papers on the nearby fridge. A lone note flutters by my feet, the letters on the surface glaring at me with mute intensity. Ermagerd! For luxury living. After Ashton's warnings, they all hold a different meaning now. Thursday. Can't we leave the house? We've been here in this room this whole fucking time. I'm getting mad at this game. I get mad a lot at games. The next 2 days stretched by in a blur altogether, leaving a collective mess of work steadily piling up and new unexpected acquaintances or friends. Depends on how you look at it, really. Either way, I'm stuck developing these photos that— Can you stop humming? At 3 in the morning to reach a deadline set by an overeager art director. Don't get me wrong, Julius is good, has a vision, and knows what he wants, but damn, he can be too enthusiastic sometimes.
Doesn't matter when you couldn't sleep anyway.
There's nothing new in it, of course. After years of working as a freelance photographer, it's something I have grown used to. Get to know people, build a client base, do good work, and cash in some late hours if need be. Rinse and repeat. Certainly takes a while to get some footing on the field, but it's the kind of thing that plays off in the long run as long as you keep at it. Given enough time, you might end up with a big name on your client list. Names like the Wrights, in particular. Never did pay much attention to them, but it's virtually impossible not to hear about them when a local news channel or paper has something to say on their name. Party here, an acquisition there. Sometimes it's a new business venture, other times it's everyday gossip that typically follows popular people like them. Not in a million years did I ever imagine I would end up working for such a high-profile couple. And between that and the fuss that comes with, it leaves me no time to ponder over whatever happened to Isabella or why Ash is so adamant we keep away from the pair.
They do seem like the good folk, though, despite the whole fame thing.
Why would you leave your room? The internet is there. That's true. My internet's not, well, my computer's not in my room, though, so I technically leave my room. Now I know a sure way to annoy Maddie. There's many ways to annoy Maddie. If you want a list of 43 ways to annoy Maddie, I got one. Yeah, Auntie would know. Sure, there was a rumor running around years ago about him being involved in some business scandal, but just like every gossip blown out of proportion by the media, nothing came of it. Eventually, it simply died down. Much is definitely left to be said for the husband, but I doubt a woman like Miss Wright would pick him if he doesn't have any good points at all. Miss Wright, Hannah herself, though, she ain't particularly bad the way the press makes her out to be. She fucking hit on him the whole entire time. It was so awkward. No tabloids had it wrong, that's for sure. For someone born with a silver spoon in her mouth, well, she ain't exactly what I was expecting. Among other things, the newfound friendship is what I at least expected from her, but here we are. Although with a life as public as the Wrights, no wonder it's a woman who often gets the crappy end of the stick. Can't help but feel sorry for her. She's a real nice person when given the chance. I know they asking for my blanket is what? Nah, not yet. Heck, she might even ended up friends with Rebecca and Isabella too if they weren't living worlds apart. Probably. The beat quickly pulls me back before my thoughts travel any further. In one practice motion, I carefully place the wet print I'm holding onto the drying rack and amble over my makeshift darkroom to get the last photos from the water bath. Inside the converted broom closet, the film processor lets out another soft clack before going on its standby mode. At its mouth, a lone photograph sits in the tray. Is it going to be a scary photo? Barely visible with the lack of light. It's the last one tonight for the set Miss Wright requested. Don't usually make this a habit, giving away stuff that is. It's bad for business, no matter how well-intended or generous you are. This exception, however. She did treat me well and was a pleasant companion all throughout the shoot. She hit on you the whole time. Even if she didn't ask, I would have probably given her a few prints just for the hell of it. Miss Wright ain't such a bad subject matter to begin with. Maybe this is just me, but for someone who has everything at the palm of her hands, all the money in the world, a loving husband, and plenty big match and to call home, she's lonely. She doesn't just appear like it. It shows in the tone of her voice, how she moves, most certainly in her smiles. Always hidden behind the glamour for the world to never see. Sometimes for people like her, small things like these help. A little reminder that the world can be kind to you. Water drips from the paper as I blindly pick it up and gently lay it on another tray, holding a decent amount of photo flow. A few seconds under the solution is all it needs before it's ready for drying. No good rushing this last one, even if my body is already screaming for some decent snooze. My hand fumbles for the light switch, moving toward it with familiarity, while I fish for a squeegee among the mess of tools and a drawer with the other. The bulb flickers twice before it glow settles and casts a soft light in a tiny place. When I glance back down, squeeching hand ready to finish the process and finally call it a night.
What on earth?
Well, that's not very spooky. I was hoping for something better than that. Her head is gone. Blurred and distorted beyond recognition, rather. The air is completely smudged over, leaving no trace of the same sweet smell the good woman carried in all previous prints.
Damn, that was too careless.
Common mistake to make, of course, if one negligent enough to pick a newly processed photo in the dark, like I apparently did. Has happened before, loads of times actually. I still can't help but feel a small pang of frustration over one mistake a newbie would likely make. With a sigh, I reached for the switch again, intending to develop a new one from scratch.
It could pass off for one of those supernatural pictures they show on TV, though.
Memory clicks when Kursu thought of Sam Mini in a short yet distinct second from the day before. Glimpse is all I got, but it was enough to burn the image in my mind. There was a shadow. Ah, cool. No. A woman. In her 20s or early 30s, maybe? But with how far gone her flesh alone has become, it's not possible to tell at first. The skin itself has already taken a sickly pale color, rotten in most parts, blood dripping from every open gash and lesion on her body. Bony hands grip Miss Sweat's neck like a noose, staining the skin underneath with a vibrant shade of scarlet. Nothing but malice feels the gleam in her eyes.
Zachary?
Not for me, but for Miss White.
Zach? Is something the matter?
Oh no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something, that's all. Let's get back to the pictures. Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
Kinda likes flirting, I guess. Don't know how these flirts work when you're not trying to get down. Yeah, she's super flirty. She's flirting like the whole time. It's so awkward. And Zach's like, can you not? You're married? Like, what are you doing? Might have to have you forward me a list. Oh, come on. You would know it's on that list. It's obvious. You guys see me get annoyed on stream so many times. Not sure if really allowed to. There's something that I requested not to be public over certain minutes. But a redacted list I can be. Oh. Brains. Yummy. Brushed it off then. Trick of the eye, I told myself, or a product of the heat. The weather has been unexpectedly warm recently, so it shouldn't be too surprising for such things to happen. And, well, blaming this on the usual fatigue, an overworked brain, the weather, or an amateur error on my part, it's far more convenient. Makes a lot of sense than what the small voice inside my head whispers. The same tiny voice that only makes itself known when something's a foul. The same one that lent a curious ear to Isabella's worries about the mansion. And with each second I spend staring at the photograph, the murmurs in my head only grow louder against my ears. Someone has to know. Who should we show it to? Ash. Let's show it to Hannah. I hate Ash. I don't even want to talk to him. Do I have an explanation for what I saw yesterday? Yeah. But when you've seen something enough to raise hairs in the back of your neck or leave you wanting to flee or hide, finding a more solid proof than the person's smudged-off face on a photo is the least of my concerns. Ashton will undoubtedly give me flack for saying that or even considering Isabella's words and those silly tales about the place. The guy's a skeptic through and through. It'd take more than my account for him to even give this a single thought. However, more than his opinion, it's Miss Wright that I'm concerned about. Surely she must have felt something if those shows on TV are to be believed. Touch of coldness in her neck, or maybe the feeling of being watched? That's what often happens, ain't it? Outside, the sun has yet to rise. I still got a few hours before dawn. Good enough to mull over. I'll go about warning her. Plenty of space to check. I get the same result if I redo the process again. Film processor hums back to life at my touch. The light switch gives out a soft click, and the darkness embraces the small closet again.
Somehow those urban legends don't sound so silly now.
In hindsight, this is a dumb idea. That is to say, rushing to a client I barely know's home first thing in the morning with news of a ghost lady potentially haunting her newly bought property. Oh, and there's a bunch of bizarre-looking pictures of Miss Hannah I brought as proof too. So yeah, dumbest idea in history and my dumb ideas, all things considered. Traveling to the outskirts of Ansliv Village at the crack of dawn with only my bike as company, equally so. Personally, I don't think any of them would take whatever I'm going to say well, no matter how nice or accommodating they are. Ashton himself would tell me the same thing. Odds are he'll laugh at it in my face for good measure, if he doesn't freak out at me first for not listening to his warnings. Yeah, that's a whole separate can of worms I'll open at a different time, seeing as I'm already standing at the Wright's front porch waiting for someone to answer the door. More than anything, Miss Wright needs to know there's possibly nothing safe in this place. Warnings from friends be damned.
If only someone would answer the door sooner. Come on.
Try to ignore the looming presence their large ornate doors give off as I press the doorbell for a fourth time. Its shrill ringing merely echoes, carried off by another warm, passing breeze. First time I come to this place, I found myself basking in the silence it offers. Now the atmosphere is just heavy, packed with trepidation and tension. Isabel's right, it does radiate the creepy kind of vibe. And with the image from the day before constantly flashing in my mind, the unease becomes harder to ignore as each second drifts by. Not wanting to spend more time here than necessary, I ring the bell again. Another long second ticks by without anyone answering their door. If this fails, I can always go to Ash. Not really the most sensible a course of action either, but waiting here ain't doing me any good. For all I know, the Wrights could be out of town. As luck would have it, just as I'm about to turn on my heel, a loud thump rises from the other side. It's followed by heavy footfalls and a string of very colorful expletives about one's parent.
Didn't we have that bloody annoying doorbell replaced yesterday? That Irish guy just cost me a fortune and she can't even fix it. And where the hell is... Your hands, if another po-faced prat is pressing that blighted bell, I swear I'll cut there.
The door swings open and a very Mr. Wright greets me, his partly rumpled appearance, a clear testament to how early the hour is.
And who might you be?
Wait.
I don't recall asking the movers to show up this early.
You met me before. I was prepared to face Miss Wright, their butler, more so. But Mr. Wright, don't quite know what to make of him yet. He surely knows how to make an impression, I'll give him that. Albeit a rude one. I only caught sight of him yesterday as he's directing the movers. Although from how exasperated he sounded then, it seemed like more yelling was done than actual giving off directions. Needless to say, I'd like to believe these instances ain't all there is to the guy. Miss Wright, at the end of the day, did marry him. Standing before him like now, though, is a different story altogether. Despite the difference in our respective heights, he managed to make it appear like he is the one looking down at me, not the other way around. An apology instinctively forms on my mouth before anything else when he arches an eyebrow at my lack of response.
Well, that's not exactly why I'm here, Mr. Wright, yeah?
Right, of course, the one and only. And what can I do for you this fine morning? Have I seen you somewhere before? Bloody peasants all look the same to me.
I'm actually...
It doesn't matter, I don't care. I've got someplace important to be at today. Just spit out what you want or be gone. I haven't got all day.
His eyes are sharp and expecting, in spite of his indifferent tone. Very impression of someone whose sharp wits has served him well throughout life, the kind you have to carefully choose your words around. Disconcerting how simple conversation can easily seem like a ruthless form of social maneuvering. I could see why Miss Wright would want to steer clear of it, if only for a short while. And sometimes the only way out of the game is to be honest. If we say friend of Hannah, he'll kind of like lose his shit, won't he? If I say photographer for luxury living, I don't know, would that work?
I'm in luxury living, sir.
He eyes the business card I hand him with completely passive expression. He turns it between his fingers without really reading the letters printed before handing it back the same blasé manner one usually reserves for people below their station, or a nuisance. With him it seems like more the latter than the former.
Mr. Steele.
Just Zach would do, sir.
I can see why. You should hear what they say about my name. Although I'm of the opinion those don't sound as unpleasant as yours to the ear. Amusing what people can come up with in their leisure time, no? Well then, to what reason do we owe this second visit, Zach?
Right, like I said earlier, I'm the photographer from Luxury Living. I'm here about the photo shoot yesterday and...
His eyes narrow at that, mouth tightening into a small frown, passive stance dissolving into a rigid one. It ain't a complete lie what I came here for, but it ain't the whole truth either.
Didn't you already wrap that one up? I believe my wife was the one with you then. Even mentioned a little tete-a-tete with the photographer. That was you, wasn't it?
Yes. Actually, sir, there was something I forgot to discuss with your...
And you had to show up at such an hour for something you forgot. Why wasn't there any notice about this little visit?
It was an error on my part, sir. I do apologize for not letting you know in advance.
terribly unprofessional for someone going under the name of an esteemed publication like Luxury Living, if you ask me. Of course, even if there was a word of some sort, that butler does not check my emails as often as I would have liked. But straight up walking in here this early isn't the most sensible thing to do either.
The matter was a bit urgent, and my art director wanted it done as soon as possible before I hand him the finished prints.
Not my problem now, is it? A common courtesy would be to wait for replies before barging in. You do well to remember that. I once fired someone before they could even submit an application. Sent an email in the morning and suddenly sauntered in the office looking knackered mere hours after. Bloody walk-ins. That aside, unfortunately, you're going to have to come back some other day. You see, darling wife left not a moment ago. I have not an inkling where she went, or when she'll be back, so you're better off.
Love, is it the
Ha!
movers?
Ha! Ha! Fucker. He stops speaking altogether, and the complacent expression he has collapses on itself. Slowly he turns just as his wife walks up to him, a step too lively for comfort, a smile too sweet, to be honest. She's very likely heard everything her husband and I have talked about.
Going off somewhere.
I've got the few things I want them to transfer already. Marianne made this splendid arrangement for the music room and... Love, are you listening?
I thought you already left, Buttercup.
He musters a frown, a pout, more like. A mischievous gleam in her eyes when she glances at me and says, "All there is, I need to know." I would have laughed at her antics if it wouldn't offend the other man. I would have anyways, fuck the guy. Get wrecked, Luke! Get wrecked. Fucker. But as it is, it's better to let his wife have her fun without any reaction from me. I'm treading on dangerous grounds with him already.
Well, I most certainly have not left yet. I wouldn't be standing here if I did, would I?
Of course you wouldn't be, darling. But don't you need to be somewhere else today? Something with Marianne? Shopping, girl
things.
Oh, I'll be leaving in a few. Unless you want to join us.
Oh, no, thanks, darling. I'm afraid my liver is killing me today.
I thought as much. You needn't have to worry. I'll be gone in a few. It's just that I heard we have a visitor. What kind of person would I be if I didn't greet him before leaving?
A very gracious one, I'm sure.
Zachary, right? Zach? It's a pleasure to see you again.
Likewise, ma'am. I was actually looking for you.
Is that so? What for?
A huge display of unprofessionalism is what it's for.
Shush, darling. Let the man speak. I'm sure it isn't anything like that if he has to come all the way here, yes?
It's about yesterday. The photos you asked, I mean. The copies are ready, but...
My hand stills as I'm about to fish the prints out of my pocket. Short second passes, that which strikes me in how I didn't think this through at all. How I'll go about telling her regarding the strange photos, or revealing this to her in the presence of another person. Her husband gazing over us like a hawk doesn't provide any sort of comfort either. And just like that, all the words I've been practicing to say on the way here inevitably fall stiffly off my mouth. Miss White must have noticed my hesitance, because shortly she gives her husband an arm a gentle squeeze, a tender smile gracing her face. Unlike the first, this one's meant to appease.
Love, I think Hansi might need some of your input for the final guest list. Could you check on him, please?
Bollocks! Why in all Luxborn do I have to be there? Doing tedious jobs are what he's being paid for.
Because if we end up with people whose faces you do not want to show up in our housewarming party, we won't be hearing the end of it. Unless a heavy dose of liquor's involved. You know what the doctor said about that. Please do poor Hansi and your liver a favor,
He can handle that on his own, Buttercup. And my liver is doing just fine.
I'm sure it is. But I don't know, love. I think I caught a glimpse of the name Mitch Lakes, was it? I think it was Mitch Lakes on it when I checked with Hansi earlier. You should see for yourself. It was quite a list.
Who put that blighted twat in there?
And that's why
Same
I'm
with the kitten I
asking
got
you
today?
to look over it before
What?
I do so tonight.
You got a kitten? I need pictures. Brandon, I need pictures of the kitten. What kind of kitten? Is it a girl or a boy? What's her name? How old are they? Are they little? Ah, I want a kitten.
Very well.
But even with that promise, he doesn't appear ready to leave. Short of passing through their doors, he stops and glances back at me, all without bothering to hide the distress.
Luke, dear, I'll be fine. Go back to your butler. I'm not some pregnant wife you have to worry about.
Oh, shit.
Fine, fine. I have to go to that little ankle
Boy,
biter's
black and
career
white
day
lemon
later
leaks.
anyway.
His name is Henry. Okay, can you post some photos in the Discord? Oh, tell her it's a munchkin kitten. That's not fair. That's not fair.
I don't see why I have to go there. Kylie's your goddaughter.
And yet, she has you around her little fingers, darling.
I prepared.
That's basically the same thing.
He ever has an answer to that, we don't get to hear it above the heavy thud the door makes, and Miss Wife's own weary exhale after she's sure her husband is out of earshot. She's nothing but apologetic when she fixes her gaze back to me, and I can't help but return the same to her.
I am so sorry you had to deal with that. My husband can be a bit trying when he really applied himself.
It's fine, Miss Wright. No harm done. It was my fault for showing up here unannounced. And this might be strange coming from me, but he does have
Those
the right
short,
to be
stubby
wary.
legs.
The
I
press
love
can be quite
Munchkin
vicious
so
when it
much.
wants to
The
be.
cutest things ever. Caught unexpectedly, they'll pick you apart. It's not surprising why he acted the way he did around me.
Sweetie, if Luke treats every journalist who shows up here like that, I'm afraid we'll end up with a harassment lawsuit hanging over our heads sometime in the
When they
future.
ran, the legs move so fast, but the kitten doesn't really. I know. They're so cute.
Vicious or not, some sort of finesse has
He
to
already
be
pooped on you.
exercised when dealing with them.
That was just him, marking his territory. That's him saying, I own you now. I own you, human. Hey, at least he didn't pee on you.
I'm sorry, I hope that wasn't too offensive.
Not at all, Miss Wright. Besides, I don't think an interior design magazine would be interested in who harassed who this week. Unless it has something to do with fighting over tastefully arranged furniture.
Oh, pics are in? Awesome. I'll look at them later.
But even then, I don't think our readers will be too interested.
Oh, dearie. You've got a lot to learn. You really have no idea how a single tassel can ignite a spark in a crowd. Of course, at the end of the day, it's still the thought that counts. It's still a lovely anniversary gift from my husband. No matter. Let's just go.
She doesn't wait for an answer and immediately wanders over a car parked some distance from us. Unsure, I find myself trailing after her. The chauffeur automatically opens the passenger side door as she nears, and she gestures for me to follow when she climbs into the back seat.
To... where are we going exactly?
I need to get out of this stuffy house for a while. Moving in, planning the party. It's starting to get suffocating in there. Luke and Hansi can have their fun while I'm gone. I don't care. I'm getting out because I can. Another minute in there and I'll drown.
Have you seen Scottish Fold? Yeah, Scottish Fold Munchkins are my dream cats. Dream cats. Is it getting ill, Lermbergo? Yeah, maybe. Hopefully. You know any breeders though? Yes, I want one.
My bike.
There are, of course, a lot of things questionable about her invitation. Why she's asking a person she's only known for less than 2 days in the first place is one. How appropriate this is, being another. But the rest of it crashes the moment she shoots me an imploring look.
Please? I can have someone send it back to your address later. And it's just a trip to the city for some furniture, nothing more, I assure you. Marianne will be with us, and maybe you can tell me why you're here on the way.
Guess it wouldn't hurt. I might have to leave early, though.
Excellent, then. Hop in. That's what they often say, yes?
This can't be a good idea, but I really don't have any other choice, do I? Especially with the way her eyes light up when agreed to it. In my pocket, the very picture of her remains faceless, voiceless shadow hanging threateningly between us, unknown to her. Why don't you just show it to her? Why do we have to go through all of this? Just show her the photo! Oh my god! I don't know, look at the photos. They better not be deleted. Hold on. My Discord is on the wrong window. I want you guys. Oh my god! Actually, I guess I can show you. Look it! His name is Henry, did you say? Look, he's so itty bitty. It's so cute. Oh my god. Kitty. Probably some in the UK, most likely. Yeah, I don't think they would have any here. Allow me to bring 1 or 2 through customs. That's cool. Ooh. I wish. If someone told me I'd be spending my entire morning being dragged around half of downtown Luxburn looking for furniture, I probably would have simply smiled at them. And perhaps even given them a good friendly pat on the shoulder and wished them a nice day. Not that I find anything wrong with it at all. On the contrary, this is most definitely a nice change of pace after weeks of getting bogged down by several freelance gigs and shutting myself inside my apartment whenever I can. If only the weather would be a whole lot nicer, the kind with the less sun and more clouds. Perhaps. Maybe. With the mid-morning sun slowly beating down on us as high noon approaches, I can see why Mr. Wright skipped out on the trip. The bright side is, the whole thing seems to have put Miss Wright in a less somber mood. After the 5th store, her pace is considerably livelier, her gestures less guarded than the one she displayed at the mansion earlier. The presence of another person might have helped as well. Although Miss McCullough seems less predisposed to small talk, preferring to keep to herself most of the time and let Miss Wright lead us wherever. She did acknowledge me with a small nod when we were introduced earlier, but that didn't make standing outside the store together any less awkward while we wait for a client to finish her inquiry inside.
So, interior design, huh?
She cast me a sidelong glance before returning to her notes again, her pen scratching faintly against the paper in quick successive strokes. There goes that. It is I'm not very good at starting or keeping conversations going, didn't I? She doesn't look back up again, and I take that as my cue to stop any attempt at striking a dialogue with her and keep myself occupied with some other thing. Except what we have here is just Luxburn and its busy streets, people going about their way like normal, cars moving in and out of sight, heading to who knows where. Nothing remarkable, really. The ease with which a person can fade into the background here is reflected the kind of city Luxburn will always be, but the humdrum's one thing I learned to live with. Needless to say, it doesn't usually stay that way. There are times when it would come alive, make itself known, or resort back to the world. However, these moments are few and far between. And again, with what graces the news channels lately, I'm starting to think it's going to happen sooner. Oh my god, he's literally saying nothing! Hi, Dave! Hi! How's it going? You found a breeder in Saskatchewan? Oh, it's not very far. Depends where in Saskatchewan, I guess. I used to live in Regina. Oh my god, this child snore is still loud. Oh! This game's putting me to sleep. Can't say I'm looking forward to what that'll bring.
Luxury living, is it?
Her voice effectively cuts through my thoughts just as I count the 13th passerby wearing a hat today. Beside me, I can hear the faint rustling of paper and the clicking of her pen as she stashes them back to her bag.
Excuse me, what?
The magazine you're working for. It's Luxury Living, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You've been featured by them before, I take it?
A few years back, yes. For just some issues. My designs still appear from time to time, though not as frequent as before. Gotta have room for new talents, right?
Yeah, they're not cheap cats. Yeah, they're not cheap. It may not show in her face, but the pride is evident in her voice.
Good folks, the people running the publication. Tell me, is DK still on the editorial team?
I wouldn't know. I've only started taking jobs from them this year. Freelancer, you know.
good man, that guy. Anyone in our field should meet him. He had a lot of things to say about art, all of them relevant. Learned a lot from him, actually, even if we both came from 2 different fields. I hope he's in a good place. I haven't talked to him in a while. Anyway, your portfolio must have been good if they gave you the job. They don't easily assign big features to freelancers like this.
I wouldn't say I am, but experienced, you know? The more you practice it, the more you learn the tricks of the trade. That kind of stuff.
I know what you mean. Still, you've got to keep up with the competition. Each year, a new talent emerges, and, well, you never know. Clients can be a bit fickle-minded with their choices. Believe me. Speaking of, do you think you'd be up for a new client after this?
I think so. Depends on how big the project is.
She reaches into her bag again. Look, it's her card again. I was waiting for the rage of the booster sync. Oh yeah, I already raged over that, Dave. Thank you. Demand for cats from breeders isn't high, so they jack up the price. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, there's a good price for a Tibetan Mastiff. Whoa! Is that supposed to be a Scottish accent? Yeah, I think so. This time, pull out a business card, which she hands over to me.
When you're free, send your portfolio to Chris. He's my assistant. He's been looking for a decent photographer to help with updating the studio's portfolio. Nothing urgent, but the sooner the better.
She had a little tantrum over it. Ha 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 ha! Ha! So
Not
funny,
sure if I'll have
Dave.
the time to squeeze this in. But, alright, I'll give it a go once.
Marianne, could you look this over for me?
And I look back to Mr. Cullen, asking professionals to return to her. Or at least, that's what it's trying to be. There's a different light in her eyes as she faces her, a flicker of familiarity and recognition. I'd say it's fondness, but that would be too presumptuous. Whatever it is doesn't last, and it's briskly swept under the firm tone her voice assumes.
Definitely. Is there a problem?
They said they don't have the colors you suggested. Do you think we can change it around for a bit? It might take a while if we insist what we want, and you know I'd rather not worry about this later.
Aw, Marianne likes that. Does she? Not really. It's kind of low. Well, we're maxed out with Isabella. Holy shit.
I think it'd be better if I handle this one myself. Excuse me.
She walks into the shop without another word, leaving the two of us standing outside. Since she's out of earshot, however, Miss Wright lets out a giggle and swipes a business card cleanly off my hand. She smiles, and bemused little thing spreading across her face, and waves the card in front of me. I wish she'd do that more often, the smiling thing. Suits her more than the other one she frequently shows to the media.
I look away, and the next thing I know, you're picking up women. On the streets, while the sun is high, no less. I'm not sure if I should be appalled or amazed. Whatever happened to the Zach I met a day ago? About as tall as you. Photographer. Quite the gentleman.
Putting the word out, looking for one of these to hold over Maddie's head. I saw she said, look, there's silver for me. Do you want me to curse? Oh my god! Oh, I can't breathe! Oh my god! Oh, look at that! Oh my god! Oh, hi! These little legs! Oh my god! Is there a sound? Does he meow? Oh my god! real ferocious warrior. Oh my goodness. He can't even stand up. He can't even stand. Oh. Okay. Sorry. Cat distraction. Oh my goodness.
To tell you the truth, I'm a bit disappointed he's gone.
Yeah, and please, it was just business. Jesus. Hi, did you want to snuggle? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hi. Hello. Going into select mode? Okay, sounds good, Brando.
It ain't like that, Miss Wright. And I'm sure Miss McCullough is not the kind of woman to let herself be picked up by strangers, let alone people she barely knows.
Oh, shush. Let me have my fun. And didn't I say you can call me Hana?
She gives the card back to me, nevertheless, and with it, her mood fades into a more pensive one. And an odd look settles on her face, yearning, a bit wistful, as she looks back towards the shop display window. Nothing remotely interesting in it for me when I follow her line of sight, though. A few trinkets here, there, for a rug, a sofa, a wooden side table, and a lamp, all tastefully picked and arranged to resemble a typical antique living room. On second thought, it does look comfortable. But why they added a crib beside it baffles me. Oh, she's looking at the crib. What are you doing? That's of course if people are hoping to market to those who already have children or about to have one, then maybe it is fitting. Peculiar choice of decorations aside, does make for a nice icebreaker. It's not on the same level of weird and completely out of the blue. Still leagues better than the awkward silence, which is definitely too out of character for a personality like Hannah's. Say hi. Say hi to everyone. How should I start the conversation? Do you think a crib would make a good gift? I think that one looks cute. I don't know. Sun cat Pierce. Jealous of the kitten. Previously giggled over. Eyes for attention. Yeah, exactly. Well, he was looking at me while I was watching the cat video. He probably did get jealous. I don't know which one. You think a crib would make a good gift?
My sister just had a baby, you know.
She turns her attention away from the window and looks at me with an incredulous expression on her face. Like I just asked her to drive off a cliff. She relaxes eventually, but I can't get that image of her like that off my head. I hope I didn't say anything to offend.
Oh, what brought this on?
Nothing. It's just a thought. She gave birth a few weeks ago.
I think looks cute, maybe. Too late! I picked the other one! Okay, I'll say the same thing to humans. Pay attention to me! Exactly, Dave. Whoa, what happened? Oh, I should save.
I suppose a congratulations is in order then.
Thanks. I'll let her know. Do you think a crib would make a good gift?
I'm sure she'd love that if she doesn't have one yet. Otherwise, maybe clothes. Or things she can use to care for the baby. You realize I'm the last person you should be asking about this, yes?
Oh, it's her first baby, don't you worry. I haven't bought a gift yet since I'm kinda new to this too, you know? The whole being an uncle thing.
Can never type fast enough.
For a long time,
Well,
it's
the
just
delay
been me,
too, right?
sis, and my grandparents. Now there's a little person who came into this world as part of the family. Who'd have thought, huh?
Please don't tell me you're jealous.
Oh, of course not. But I gotta admit that the very idea takes a lot of getting used to, and you know, scary stuff like what if I drop her or end up teaching her something bad, or I just can't stop making her cry, or
Something warm presses against my arm, gentle as it can be, which stops the rest of my words from coming out. Her hand, I realize, willingly. When I look to her, there's nothing but warmth in her smile. She's doing that a lot the past few hours, so I can't help but return it to her.
Zach, sweetie. Stop. You're panicking. It's going to be fine.
I
Yeah,
don't
dude
know,
looks
Hana.
like Street Fighter poking the
Maybe I'm
college
not cut out to be a good uncle.
Don't be silly. You'll probably be the best one there is. Might even make a good father when the time comes. Whoever you choose to be with will be lucky to have someone like you, I'm sure.
At this, her expression softens, sadness fitting into her eyes for a little while before she looks away.
I'm the one who's worried if I'll ever make a good mother. Luke doesn't seem to even want one of our own. How pitiful is that? 7 years and we're still at this point. I don't even know what to call it anymore. Now I'm carrying this other life with me while the father doesn't want anything to do with it. What am I going to do, Zach? Because
She's
now
pregnant?
I'm absolutely at a loss.
Oh.
A beat.
Oh!
The realization strikes me like a ton of bricks suddenly bearing down on me. And the astonishment must have shown on my face because Hana lets out a chuckle, thump in her shoulders disappears altogether underneath her mirth.
Don't look so surprised, dearie. Tied the knot 7 years ago, remember? Don't you think it's bound to happen?
She brandishes her hand in front of me, the unassuming silver band on her finger glinting against the late morning sunlight for a second. She eyes it lovingly, almost tenderly, despite the trace of sadness in her voice. For all I know, there's an entire story there. I'd ask, but it would be too inappropriate even for friends. It's not my place to meddle to begin with.
Or at least that's what they've been saying early on. My whole social circle would be saying it's a long time coming.
But the kid is something you want, right? Because if it ain't, then that's a whole other problem.
Of course. I wouldn't deny I've been hoping to have him or her for a long time now. But then, now that we're here, all of a sudden, there are a whole lot of other things to be worried about.
Yes, this is supposed to be a horror game. But a lot of boring shit happens. Maybe the relationship stuff is the horror part. I agree. Oh, do I agree? Zombie kids? Like in, what's that zombie movie? The one in the mall? What was that called? Dawn of the Dead? Dawn of the Dead?
Business, a new home, public image, my own husband, and I don't know. I didn't really have anyone for a role
Pretty
model.
sure a lady in that one gave birth to a zombie baby.
I practically grew up with nursemaids pampering me every step of the way. What if it happens to this baby as well?
Dawn of the Dead, the remake one. That I'm thinking
Oh, I
of.
can already see how this will end.
Huh. I guess it's not just my sister.
What?
You and my sister. I mean, you're both having jitters or something like that. That's what it's called, right? First baby jitters? Mind you, she was really convinced she'd do everything wrong then. He even called me in the middle of the night. Has to switch places the day she found out she's carrying a new member of the family. Never mind how utterly impossible her request is.
I'm quite sure I haven't done anything of that sort yet.
Oh, you don't know that? My brother-in-law has been telling me things 5 weeks into my sister's pregnancy. Since she's one cranky pregnant lady. Man, good thing I found a place for myself years before that bundle of joy arrived, huh?
It can't be that awful.
Who knows? I think we'd better leave it for Mr. Right to decide, yeah?
Provided he comes around. He just sounds so repulsed every time the idea is brought up.
Then
That's
maybe you
shitty.
should say it to his face. No mincing of words or beating around the bushes.
And if he says no,
Then dump his ass.
You haven't even told him yet. Besides, that's his kid. Don't people usually say fatherhood changes men? I wouldn't call myself a living testament, of course, but there ought to be something that will hit him in that idea alone.
a wrecking ball would be nice.
Laughter escapes me before I can stop him. For a moment, I thought I've done something wrong when she doesn't join in. He's still her husband, no matter what jest or complaints she hurls about him behind the media's eyes or in the presence of people she trusts. And when she does, her chuckle, a small hesitant sound at first. I find the rest, my ease slipping away.
Well,
Objection!
whatever it is, my point is, you've got no idea what will happen. In the same way, you don't know if you'll be a good mom. Trust me, my sister's been there. It's perfectly normal. If, my opinion matters, though.
A long second of indecision goes by. I can feel her eyes fill with nothing but curiosity boring into me while she waits for the rest. Just a simple sentiment, but one thing she needs to hear for all the doubt she's unwittingly places on herself. I'm just not sure if it should come from me. I'll be damned.
I think you'll be a great mother, Hana.
As an answer to that, I don't get to hear it, nor does she get to say it. As soon as it's out of my mouth, the bell's ringing over the antique store door chimes, and out comes Miss McCullough. For more than one reason, I've never been so relieved our talk got interrupted.
Everything's been taken care of for tomorrow, Mrs. Wright. We'll have everything you requested delivered early. I've left them instructions, but I may have to visit again right before your housewarming party to check for a few things. I hope that's acceptable to you?
More than Marianne. This is a little early to say, but you did marvelous work with the mansion. I can't wait to see all of it come together tomorrow.
I'm only doing my job, ma'am. Needless to say, it's always a pleasure to hear a client is satisfied with my work.
Nonsense! You have every reason to be proud.
Yeah, like, we still haven't shown her the fucking photo. Why?
I know you've already established your name here, but I'll still make sure word gets out, of course. I think I've got a few friends who might be interested in decorating their homes. I'll see if I can introduce you to them tomorrow.
I really don't want to impose, Mrs. Wright. There's still a lot to be done, and I'd rather be keeping an eye on it myself.
You know well enough I'll still do it. You too, Monsieur le Photographe. You better be the one taking the pictures for the event tomorrow, or I'll be very upset.
I blink at her, confused. Last I checked, I have nothing scheduled on my plate tomorrow. A couple of fleeting thoughts did cross my mind, like working on personal projects, but with the expected expression on Hannah's face alone. I wondered before how they got Isabella to sell them the mansion with all the paperwork and the loops has to go through. Well, now the how is already standing in front of me, a giant ball of persuasion in human form. If I have any doubts on how she got around life, all of them have been dispelled right this instant. Anna hasn't said anything yet, but I already know what my answer will be.
What event?
Our housewarming party, dearie. I've already sent invites through your publisher. They should have informed you of it by now.
I may have probably missed it. I haven't gotten the chance to check my mailbox yet. Deadlines, real-life happenings, they can be pretty hectic. I'll try later, but they might have already assigned it to a different photographer if they haven't received my reply yet.
That's not a problem. Nothing a little call from me can't fix. I'll have them know I'm specifically requesting for your presence. It shouldn't be too hard. Just promise me you'll show up. I expect to see you both there. No excuses.
Good company, good music, good food. Of course I'll be there.
Lovely. I hope we have that settled then. I'd love to stay and chat, but unfortunately I have an appointment scheduled with the doctors after this. You two will have to excuse me.
Are you feeling fine, ma'am?
It's nothing big.
It's nothing big. It's a short while in which her hand faintly touches her stomach when she says this. Her smile as she does so, a tender thing in itself. She might never let it cross her mind, but motherhood would suit her. The kid's already loved even when he or she has yet to have a sense of the world. Candid moments like this I wish I brought a camera for.
Sorry we had to cut this short. I'd love to have lunch with you two, but, well, you two know how it goes.
It's quite fine, Mrs. Wright. I need to get going as well.
Is it somewhere far from here? I can have my driver drop you off on the way.
No, please. There's no need for that, Mrs. Wright. It's just within the city.
I see. What about you, Zach? We did leave your push bike at the mansion. Don't worry, I'll have someone bring it to your home later.
Nah, I live within the city too. A few blocks from here, in fact. I only visited earlier because...
Yeah, hello, do you remember what you were visiting for? The photos. Damn, I completely forgot. My hand graces the side of my pocket where I kept them since this morning. And sure enough, they're still there, waiting for the whole world to see them.
Because? Zach, sweetie, you're zoning out.
Miss Hana, earlier, at the mansion,
Show her the pictures.
I think it will be better if you take a look at these yourself.
Seeing is believing, right? Reached into my pocket and pulled out the photos. Spooky music. Recognition flickers across her eyes when she reaches for them. I had to stamp down a tiny twinge of regret in my stomach for having the gall to show it to her. It only cuts deeper the instant both her and Miss Cole's expression changes. It's not a good look. To say she's repulsed would be a total understatement. All this time, Hannah has been nothing but direct, saying what she feels, expressing what she wants. Away from the glamour and the camera lenses, she's a whole different person. But as she goes through each of the pictures, I can't get an easy read on her.
Zach, dearie, what is this?
Your photos. The ones you requested copies of. I mean, they came out that way, and I thought you should know.
Oh, I get it. You know, I've heard before that artists can be a bit weird. Have you ever gotten that kind of comment, Marianne?
Not in my line of work, I'm afraid. Or ever, Mrs. Wright. I'd rather keep my personal hobbies away from my actual work. Less stress that way.
Well, I suppose it just never crossed my mind that the saying applies to you as well, Zach. But talent's what's important, As long as you make good art, it doesn't matter.
He did it. No.
Oh, no,
he
that's...
didn't do that on purpose, dude.
You see, when we had that photo shoot yesterday, there was something.
I wouldn't say I don't appreciate it. I did ask for copies, darling. But would it be possible for you to give me normal-looking ones? Preferably with my head intact. I admire the effort you took to edit this, though. It looks authentic. Frankly, if I show this to some other person, they'd probably believe those silly rumors about the mansion. Good publicity, but not the kind I'd want for my new
Oh my god,
home.
just tell her you didn't
So
do it on
please.
purpose. She drops them back in my hands.
If you could redo this, that would be wonderful. I'm positive you can do a better job than the one you just showed. Just try to keep the edits to a minimum,
Yeah. I can, sure.
You can take your time, of course. And speaking of time, I really must go.
We ruined our relationship. It went down. She leaves. Not to make a yes or no, I just made her in her own words, weirded her out. Simon Miss Colo shakes her head. What are the odds I've also ruined my chances with the job she offered earlier? Very high, I'd say. It's a foolish idea in the first place. She departed shortly after Miss Rice taking her leave, muttering something about getting a quick lunch before fetching maybe. Don't know what and who Ruthiel is. Must be important for her. It's a kitty. And while she doesn't seem to be fond of small talk, something we can both agree on. Lunch sounds good, or a walk around the city maybe. But the sun as high as it is now? Nah. I know how things with Miss Hannah went. And they can't muster the appetite for anything at the moment. If I don't do anything with it now, I have this impression it will rear its ugly head again. And by then, things might be too late to fix. What other choice do I have? Ash? Rebecca? In all likelihood, they'll all give me the pat on the back and see, man, go get some sleep. You're at it again from Ash. Talked to Isabella, but I haven't seen her around since she showed up at my apartment. Weird. There is one person, though.
Damn, I should have thought of that first.
As it turns out, I do have another choice. Oh, we're at a church. Benny! Hi, Benny. How are you? There's like cat hair on my forehead. Ha. Too scary. Play the dad dating simulator game. I still have to play that. I keep on forgetting I never finished that. I wish this was scary. It's not. Not a religious person. I won't identify myself as such, or rather I can't. Sure, my grandparents didn't have to force me to go weekly. I'd happily join them. In fact, most of my childhood Sundays have been spent attending service. Simply that, as you get older, the more experiences you get, forming your own beliefs on things become easier, for the lack of a better word. And at one point, it just stopped. That kind of thing. Nevertheless, I hold no disdain for it. Sometimes it does help. When things are really, really bad, when the dreams won't stay where they should be. Talking does, a bit. It's also a good thing Father Norman's, well, he's not completely the pious man you typically expect. My unlikely friendship only happened because he's the kind of guy who's cool with the young ones, as he aptly puts. And he is, surprisingly, makes him easy to approach. Like that one time with Isabella. I don't think he believes in the ghost kind, but there he went. Maybe he has something to say about the photos as well. Won't hurt, since I've already gone ahead and went to answer him. At daybreak. On my bike. At the very least, I know I won't get shouted at by whoever answers the door.
Unless someone does that inside a church. I highly doubt it.
Did you finish up The Evil Within? No, I have not finished that. Despite its age, the Luxborn Church is a thing of wonder in itself, with its high vaulted ceilings and intricate stained glass windows. One of the many gifts the Ermengarde family donated to the community in its early days. Or so I heard from Rebecca. She mentioned this once, although most of it flew over my head then. At this time of day, the church was mostly empty, save for a few visitors and ushers shuffling about, muttering their prayers under their breath. The scene of a burning candles and incense permeate the air, giving the place a general feeling of reverence. Pretty welcoming all in all. Even so, I keep the noise my treads make to a minimum. Disturbing the quiet feels like a sin. An usher points me to a pew in front of the altar when asked where Father Norman prays. He mentioned something about the good priest not being in good health. Ever since he did a favor for a friend to bless an old house. This is the first time in days he's left his room. No surprise there, with the weird heat lately, even Rebecca caught something. Nervous little chap, the kid. Nevertheless, he leads me close to the foot of the dais with a reminder not to stay too long before walking off. Seconds later, Father shifts and stands. He doesn't seem to have noticed me. I have to give him a little tap on the shoulder. When he looks, though, to say he's surprised is an understatement. Ah! My cam's in the way! Stay away! His voice comes out a whisper, almost inaudible in the harsh, quiet restraint and indifference to what we were both standing. But the tremor is there. He focuses on me with wide, bulging eyes, copious amount of sweat appearing on his forehead, despite the relative coolness of the place.
Father Norman?
Keep your distance.
Hey, it's me, Zach, remember?
Stay away, don't come near me.
It must be the fever talking, or whatever he caught. It has to be. I don't recall doing anything for him to drive me away like this. In all the years I've known him, he's been nothing but polite, nothing but accepting of people regardless of beliefs or status in life. Her words akin to a threat to come out of him is simply beyond unimaginable.
Go back to where you came from. Leave.
Father, what did I do?
Leave, now!
I extend a hand to his shoulder, meant to be reassuring, but he recoils, his ankle catching the edge of the dais as he backs away. His shout when I attempt to reach out again echoes through the entire hall, catching the attention of a few people inside. Try to keep a level tone, but with these strangers' eyes trained on us, panic starts to weave its way into me.
Stay away, demon! Go back to the hell you came from!
Father, it's okay. I only came here for some pictures I thought looked odd. I figured you might know something.
From my pocket, I fish out the photos and try to hand it to him. Instead, he strikes my wrist away, almost like an accusation, and sends the photographs fluttering uselessly to the floor. Helpless, I can only watch as he curls into himself on the ground, a sad, blubbering mess whimpering to himself. Tips his head forward and begins rocking, his hands clamped over his ears.
That accursed spirit, so full of anger and pain. All those horrible things I've seen. I can't sleep. I can't eat everywhere I look. Go away, go away. Go away. You're not supposed to be here. This is a house of God. Be gone, demon.
Who would have thought Gene Simmons would have a cameo in this game? What?
Lord have mercy, God, our Lord, King of ages, all-powerful and almighty. You who made everything and transform everything simply by your will.
Oh, are we done? Oh, that was it. That was the one spook we got in the 2 hours we played. A number of people have moved closer, mostly just to gawk. Thankfully, as if to save him from being an utter spectacle, 2 ushers come out, taking him away. One of them, the kid from earlier, shirts me an apologetic look. I can't even return it to him. Anxiety is a powerful thing, from little notion that clings, eats, and consumes you. I can still hear his prayers, even as they drag him away.
May he keep at bay and vanquish every evil power, every poison or malice invoked against us by corrupt and envious people. Then under the protection of your authority may we sing in gratitude.
It rings, hums in me as I'm left to pick up the pieces of this chaos. Back to square one we go! If there's salvation in this, I hope we find it soon. The moon is well into the night sky by the time I make it back home. Power of Christ compels you! Rest of the game is more relationship shit. Yeah. The true horror. I have every chance to sound of traffic outside echoing my ears, filling the empty room with some semblance of life. Nana would scold me if she ever hears me talk like that, but after today, I really can't give a damn about everything. The mattress creaks under my weight as I'm unceremoniously and flop down, and I find myself looking at the paper under my grip. As promised, Miss Wright had my bag delivered back to my apartment. Be there, heart, Hannah. Raise your glasses, give cheers to good times. We are cordially invited to the Wrights housewarming party October 28th, 2016, Friday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Ermagard. Found and parked in the rack downstairs with an invitation note tacked to it. In fact, be there. But it was that easy. But it'll give me a chance to talk to her about that thing in their house. With a sigh, I let my hand fall to the side of bed along with the invitation. Think about it tomorrow when my head ain't muddled with thoughts of a headless woman and the haunting smells of a ghost. Lately, it occurs to me I haven't eaten anything since I left this morning, and an empty, gnawing ache makes itself known. I can't bring myself to stand up. Today was a complete waste of time and, frankly, a disappointment. I don't like this. The lack of uncertainty, the disquiet, the lack of stable ground to stand on, the part where I do not know what will come tomorrow. Ever since that damn letter, everything has been thrown out of the loop. I wish everything stayed the same. Routine would have been easier to make sense of all this. Closing my eyes, I let the noise from the streets below lull me to sleep. At the very least, that's the one thing that hasn't changed. Oh, it's not done! Jeez. Has it really been a month since I started playing this? It's been over a month since I've been playing this? Okay, what my head is muddled with the thoughts of a headless woman, the things I do for love. They even had a Sleepy Hollow era Christopher Walken. Yeah, where did he get the headless part? I think he was talking about the photo. But she had her head, it was just all distorted. Solemn, gentle, and soothing reminder of what home is. Pause for a meaningful gaze, modest wistful smiles, warm rays filtering through the eaves at sunset, the distinct smell of wet earth and leaves after a long day's rain in our room. The room, Mom and Pa's pride and joy, the place where we once promised several springs ago. Yet it won't stop.
No, wait! Come back! I'll be good this time! Please don't leave! Please stay!
The floorboards are cold under my feet more than it usually is, the walls more forbidding than what I'm used to. Farther and farther the room goes. My singing ceases and Pa. Can't hear Pa. Haven't we been through this? Replacing carbonated soda. There's only a binding here. When the light breaks. We've already seen this. A scream ripples through the air. My whole body feels distant. Every limb heavy with lead, all unable to move at will. Not even so I can wipe the beds of sweat forming at my temple. The rasp of my breath easily fills the room in the wee hours while I force it back into a steady rhythm. It's tightness in my chest I can't shake off, my heart pounding against it as if it's about to burst out. Hi, kitten. Something cold has settled in my legs. Not the usual chill that comes and goes with the passing breeze from the window, but the one strong enough to sting, shackle, and leave a frigid sensation creeping up my skin. Every struggle I make, the pressure winds firmly around my legs, tighter and tighter and tighter, until it becomes too much. Brace your butts! My heart stops. Another draught sweeps into the room and brings with it the iron tang of blood, thick, suffocating, filling my nose with a foul, sickening smell as I shift my gaze downwards and it slowly comes into my mouth, stretched. Oh, shit! Fuck! Mouth stretched in a hideous smile and eyes brimming with nothing but madness. The stench of gore taints the air around me and I can't look away from her, from the terror and death that her uncanny, twisted features alone scream. I try to open my mouth to shout and ask for help, but my voice has left my body altogether. All I have is the painful realization that no kind of plea will ever save me from her. Then suddenly, the bed dips. She wanted to go down on him. Yeah, cardio. Yeah, that's what that sounds like. A brutal plunge back into myself jerks me awake. There is no ear-splitting scream, no wild thrashing of limbs, just a painful, constricting awareness that something has wound itself tightly around my neck. I waste no second pulling a blanket away, but allow myself a few minutes to steady my breathing before getting off the bed. Inhale, hold, exhale. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. But the dreams have gotten worse. Ever since 2 days ago, no longer are they small cursory flashes that I'm used to, but vivid ones that linger. I can still feel the blood in my hands, the putrid smell of rotting flesh, the sickening crunch of bones breaking with every movement, their cold, chilling eyes as they bore into me. I draw in one long, ragged breath, and before I know it, I'm walking out the door. Even in the waking world, it reeks. Bench on the Park is from the most private place for thoughts in Luxembourg, considering its location at the heart of a bustling city. But in the early hours of the morning, it provides enough peace and quiet for a poor, problematic soul who happens to wander here. The city is just waking up a little later than usual. But knowing that the day is, can't fault it for being a little tardy just this one. Yet neither the pleasant morning chill nor the soft twittering of birds does anything to banish the images. Every single one has rooted itself in my head, its claws digging deep in what is no longer a safe place to hide in.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. Take a key and lock him up, lock him up, lock him up. Take a key and lock him up, my fair lady.
Sometimes it's...
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge
Sometimes
is
it's
falling
easier to
down,
run,
my
easier to
fair
hide when
lady.
everything's falling
Take a
apart.
key and
That
lock
way, you
him
don't
up,
have to be the
lock
first to
him
witness
up,
it when it
lock
does.
him up. Take a key and lock him up.
I worked when
my
things went
fair
bad at the
lady.
movie, after all.
London Bridge
Also
is
worked when Mom and
falling
Pop were
down,
taken from us.
falling down, falling
So the sentiment's a
down.
little
London
hypocritical
Bridge
when
is
you think
falling
about my
down,
little talk with Miss
my
White the other
fair
day.
lady. Take a key and lock him up.
just how it
lock
is.
him up, lock him up. Take a
Oh my
Mister-
god! Fucking Christ, that was annoying. You thought that was me? Wow. Tiny voice gives me pause. I look up, a little girl, maybe about 6 or 7, peering at me. 2 wide eyes overflowing with what could only be natural curiosity one typically sees in children. I vaguely note the sacred uniform she's wearing before returning her greeting.
Hey kid.
Kylie.
Kylie?
That's my name. Mama said it's rude not to call people by their names.
She then flops down the empty space beside me. Her little legs, still too short to touch the ground, swings into with a song she hums under her breath. I don't mind kids. Nana would often invite the ones in our old neighborhood to give them treats. Of course, by then, Sis and I were both too old to play with them, but you get used to the commotion. It's not completely as unpleasant as most people would imply. Well, he seems to be a well-behaved kid anyway.
Oh, sorry. Nice to meet you, Kylie. Is Mama here?
No, but my big brother's with me. He's taking pictures with his camera over there.
She points to the far end of the park, the one closest to the street where a kid is taking shots of something above him. Doesn't look to be birds because all there is on that side of the park are buildings.
I don't see what's so interesting with the tip of a building, though. I'd take pictures of dogs if I were him. They're cute.
Dogs are cute.
Do you have a camera too, mister?
Yeah, I'm actually a photographer.
Mama said I'm too young to get a camera.
I'm sure your mama will eventually give you one. But won't you be late for school like this?
Big Brother will get us there on time. Rowan promised Papa. We aren't going to be late. It's sports day. So it's not good if you keep looking like that today. If it ends up raining and we lose, it's your fault.
Whoa.
All right, I'll try not to upset the clouds today, kid.
Is it because you're sick, mister?
Before I know it, a smile spread over my face. They say kids ask the toughest questions sometimes. They sure do with how sincere Kylie looks. Lying feels like doing her a huge disservice.
No, not sick. Just having a very, very bad day.
Why is that? Is that like when my big brother ate all of my pudding? He did that once and then cried. It wasn't very nice of him.
Yeah, I think so. You see, there's this mean girl. She's given my friends and I a lot of trouble. Hard to keep up when things are like that, you know? Especially when you can't do anything. It's kind of scary. Makes you wish things will just stay as peaceful as they used to be.
Maybe she just wants to be friends
Yeah,
with you?
she just wants to be our friend.
I highly doubt that. She already hurt one of my friends.
What if she's just sad? Or maybe she just wants help. That's what happened with Melody. I let her borrow my crayon when she left hers. Now we're playmates.
It's not really the same thing, Kylie. What she did, they're pretty bad things.
I still think there's another reason. Did you try talking to her? That's what Mama said I should do.
Why is the voice acting so bad? Is it because I touched myself? It's exactly it. It's all your fault, Benny, because you touch yourself. Look at that bro running back there. I know, let him go. Running in place, in the one spot. There's a bunch of anime people too on the left side. Oh, you can't see it. My face is in the way.
I don't think that'll work either.
You haven't even tried yet. You sound like Rowan. You're just scared, mister.
Maybe it's the honesty in her tone or simply the truth. I don't know why, but I can't help it. I laugh. Loud enough to disturb an elderly couple taking a leisurely walk nearby.
Why are you laughing?
That's nothing. You're a really smart kid, you know that?
That's what I've been doing, ain't it? Go full speed ahead and then backtrack when going gets tough. Stay in my safe zone because that's what I know. Once Dr. Navarro said I should be the first one willing to deal with my problems before anyone else. Didn't show up to her next appointment after that, but he's right. And though I hate to admit it, knowing what I've seen, but the kid makes a good point too. I've been so caught up thinking there might not be a way out. Maybe there isn't and maybe there is, but that doesn't mean I should just leave it up to fate.
You better get to school, though, or you'll miss sports day. You should have won yourself some awards, alright?
Alright. Can I show it to you when I do? That can cheer people up, right?
In the distance, her brother calls for her, and I took that as a sign to leave. Got things to do, to face, the first few steps, they say.
Nah, I'm good now, I think. Thanks to you. Besides, Mister needs to go.
Sports day!
But you should show it to Mama and Papa. I'm sure they'll be proud of you, Kylie.
I will. Thanks, mister. Bye.
I gave her a little pat on the head before heading my way. A small gesture, thanks from a stranger she didn't know she might have helped. She may not understand it now, even though at a young age she already has this understanding of things. But maybe when she's older, when the world no longer seems too big for her.
But aren't you going to help me, mister?
With what?
Confused, I glanced back. Ah! Whatever chair Little Talk brought has vanished under the shadow suddenly dancing in my eyes. The frigid air almost definitely not how the morning chill should feel like. Bitter, stinging, unwelcoming. And the kid.
What do you think, mister? Are you going to help me?
Leave us alone! What did we do to you?
The response never comes, however. Because when I blinked, gone.
Hello? Mister? Are you okay?
Children are freaky. For several passing seconds, I let my stare linger on her face, waiting for any sign of another change. The doll remains as carefree smile of a child. Not a spite, not the cold, bloody smile.
Nothing. I really need to go, Kylie. It was nice meeting you.
See you again, mister!
I break into a run. I don't look back, not even as I bump into a couple of passersby as soon as I'm out of the busy streets. Going insane. This is what it is. Back here, it's just like it keeps going and going and going. The tremors follow me even as I get home. I had hoped a little stroll around the block for a few hours would help. Instead, I'm assaulted with more images of her, her smile, and the loathing in her eyes, the stench of gore, the horrid crunch that comes with every movement she makes. Even old memories have been sullied by her, and Ma's song no longer sounds like sweet as it used to be. Or meant to be. Never trust a Kylie. Ha! Freaky FaceTime! Yeah, kill it with fire. Did you bump into the running bro? Probably. In the end, all I got was a sinking feeling I would never be rid of her image and another ridiculous idea that may or may not even work. The sun's already hanging low on the horizon when I make it back. And for the first time, coming home feels more like a chore. Only I didn't arrive to an empty room. As soon as I open the door, I'm greeted by none other than...
Sup, Z-Man?
I told you we should have called him before going here.
It's fine.
Here's Ashton I see first, sitting comfortably on my couch, munching on a bag of chips with both feet propped atop the coffee table. Whatever proverbial stone has made a home at the pit of my stomach automatically flies right out the window at the sight of him. Before any exasperation can set in, my attention is taken by other occupant in the room. Isabella perches on the only other chair in the room, attempting to make herself smaller, it seems, from how closely she's hugging her arms around her. Nevertheless, she gives me a small smile when she notices my stare. Yet somehow there aren't any warmth in it like it's supposed to have.
Hey, Zach. Sorry we just barged in here. Ash was...
So if you have widely open eyes and a grin, you're a ghostly zombie person. Exactly. Yep.
Relax. Z-Man gave me a copy of the key himself.
Only after you broke the 13th one? I can't keep replacing them every time you think it'd be a good idea to break into my apartment. And stop calling me Z-Man!
I didn't break anything this time.
Ash, just because I gave you a key doesn't mean you can just stroll in here whenever you want to. And, hey, is that my...
Ash smirks at me because, of course, he has an odd smirk knowing what he did. He pops in whatever likely the last piece of chip into his mouth and folds the wrapper neatly on the table before throwing it in the nearby trash. You're an asshole! I'd be so pissed if someone ate my food. From her chair, Isabella shoots up Polachek's mind as soon as the foil hits the boy's spin with a dull dunk. Common sense dictates that I should be angry, but after everything, having something normal play out in front of me, no matter how childish their antics can get, I can't bring myself to muster even a tidbit of it. Behind me, the television starts blaring the music for the end credits of a movie. They've likely been waiting for a while if Ash has gotten impatient enough to rummage through the cupboards to watch something.
Of course he eats all of it. You know, I was saving that for the weekend.
I like how he's saving chips for the weekend like it's a special event. Ashhole indeed.
Did you at least share some with Bella?
Don't worry about it. I'm good, Zach.
Really? It's free food, you know? What was that you usually say? You don't say no to free food? What happened?
No, I'm just not hungry.
Ash only shrugs at the question in my eyes. Can't be the only one who finds this vibe she's giving off to be odd, and the guy has no doubt already caught wind of it.
Aye. But if you want something, just say so. I've got a fully restocked pantry right here at your disposal. Still not a 5-star level thing, but for an empty stomach, it'd do. Just say the word.
Thanks, Zach. Maybe next time. Food is not really what we came here for. Ash, he's the one who...
She casts a brief glance at Ash, and in an instant he sits up. Every trace of amusement is gone from his face as he claps his hand in front of him and leans forward. A minuscule gesture meant to ease, yet the grim expression on him tells a different story altogether.
All right, you two, what's this about? I don't like those looks.
A short but tense pause follows. They're both stalling. Under normal circumstances, I'd wait. With these two, the more you force it, the more they'll clamp down on it. But as a handful of seconds continue to slip by, the unsettling feeling in me also grows with it. Soon it turns into impatience. Before I can demand a response, though, one of them finally speaks up. It's Isabella who does.
We just thought we should check on you. After what happened to Rose,
Please don't tell me something happened again.
No, nothing. None so far. And we're keeping it that way as much as possible.
Ash, it's not that easy. This isn't some...
We don't know that. Let me...
The bitter frustration in his tone is impossible to miss, but he catches it as soon as Isabella draws back. He allows himself a moment to breathe before dropping it for one less harsh, more tempered, gentler.
Let me look at this first, okay? I agreed to help, but you've got to let me handle things from now on.
I already told you everything.
There must be something we're not seeing in this just yet. We'll sort this out, but no more silly ideas and running around on your own. You're making people worry more than necessary. Becca, especially.
So everything's fine?
Depends on who you're asking. How are things with you? Anything odd?
Good, I guess. Admittedly, how things went down at the housewarming party last night threw me off a bit.
I'm not asking about that. Remember the letter thing Isabella's been yapping on about? I'm asking about that kind of odd.
I look at him. Gaped, more like. His serious expression doesn't waver despite the perplexed look I shoot him. There's a brief second I let pass and I wait for the heavens to fall somewhere. Doesn't come. The sky is still bathed in vibrant reddish hues as it waits for the night to arrive. Luxborn is still the same busy city, and everything in my room still appears as it did a second ago, including the unnerving ticking of my wall clock. But Ashton, calm, cool, collected, always logical, Ashton, takes interest in this. Something or someone must have fucked shit up somewhere.
Well, the dreams, they're a lot worse than usual. There's a woman now, ever since we saw that letter. I don't know if it's the same one Isabella talked about. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't. I really don't want to go back to sleep sometimes. Last night was the worst. Anyway, why are you asking about this?
Rose's death isn't just a coincidence, Zach. It may have something to do with... I may have...
Wait, stop right there for a sec, Bella. I thought you ain't buying this stuff, Ash. Just the other day, you said the exact same thing.
I still don't, but even Rebecca, out of all people, claims there's something. Whatever this is, someone has got to look into it. Everything about this screams shady.
Shady. The real Slim Shady.
Are you sure you even have the time? Ain't you busy with your current case?
I got taken off that one.
You didn't say you were taken off your case.
I just got the news this morning. Apparently the higher-ups think I'm doing a horrendous job at it. It doesn't matter though. If these two cases are connected like I initially thought, then regardless, I'm on the right track.
Are you sure we should even be doing this?
Doing what exactly?
There's some place we'll visit after this.
Too vague for comfort, Ash. And please don't tell me you're bringing her with you.
His affirmation comes in the form of a stare, but that alone says all you need to know. What I pointed out gives him a pause, though, and his voice is thick with hesitation when he addresses Isabella.
You know what? Zach's right, Isabella. You don't have to come with me.
It's not myself I'm worried about. It's you. I'll just do this myself, if it'll get you into more trouble with your superiors. At least I can make up an excuse why I need to be there.
Don't be ridiculous. You're not walking in there without me. Besides, I think it's a little too late to back out now. Have you two seen the news this morning?
I haven't, actually. Mama called, and I was busy.
The change in the air around her, while small, cannot have gone unnoticed, and it takes every willpower now to ask. Probably the only thing reigning in my curiosity is the fact that Ash himself hasn't brought it up either.
No problem. It should be in the afternoon news as well.
Another victim. Man burned after room catches fire. grabs a remote and cycles through numerous channels until he gets to a news report about another guy who's been found dead in the early hours of the morning today. Burned alive this time. Oddly, no fire has spread, and whatever damage has been contained within the place the body was found. The room itself, however, is completely vandalized. Help me. Help me. Help me. Another murder, the authorities claimed. Isabella and I know better. None of us shifts even after the report ends. The room has suddenly felt stifling. Ashton's eyes have gone hooded with what appears to be restrained anger, and the remote in his hand creaks madly under his grip. The stone is back in my stomach. Tiny little thing gripping at my insides, growing with every passing second as the dread sinks in. The thick of it, Isabella's voice is the one that breaks the hush. A small, weak thing on its own that wavers unevenly between words, but every syllable heavy with meaning.
This is because of that thing, isn't it? I did this somehow.
When it fades, all that's left in the air is her doubt and fear, while all we can do is go. Is there something I can say to make her feel better? We can still fix this.
It ain't too late. We could still fix this. There's 3 of us here. 4 if you count Rebecca.
No, she's staying away from this.
She lifts her gaze at me, eyes steady and shoulders squared, as she holds it against the baffled look I give her. Although in the next second it immediately softens, and it takes me by surprise, nevertheless. In those brief moments, like I face a different person.
I don't want to involve her in this any more than I already have. Both of you as well.
I already said it. That's completely out of the question. Stop asking.
Still in all, that's 2 extra heads who can do the thinking. Between us 3, I'm sure we'll figure something out pretty soon.
Don't make this whole thing sound like it's a piece of cake to deal with.
It ain't. But better than sitting around, yeah? Plan is still a plan.
You're going to shoot yourself in the foot one day with that kind of thinking. We don't even know who's doing this. The last 2 murders might just be similar incidents done by 2 different suspects.
Hasn't stopped you from going after them before. Remember that time when you...
Okay, stop right there. There will be no retelling of that incident today, Z-Man. Or ever.
Keep calling me Z-Man and maybe I
Yeah,
will.
let's laugh. There's just another murder. We're friends. We're having fun. Yeah, good time. Still a far cry from the usual cheer she carries. It brings a welcome shift to the otherwise dreary mood.
Thanks, you two.
I'll tell you about it when he's not around.
Give it up, Z-Man. She's not interested.
Who says I'm not?
Ash makes a face but chuckles.
Why am I even friends with you two?
I don't know, why are we friends with you? And like this, most of our worries ebb away, if only for a few moments. They take their leave mere minutes close to sundown. But regardless of the lighter mood, little has been said of their plans, only vague hints. But isn't any business to know something about this whole thing still gnaws at me? Tiny passing thought urges me to do something. Oh my gosh. I can't do this anymore, I have to stop. I have to stop. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh. I have to stop. I can't play this anymore tonight. I'm done. I'm done. This game is actually horrible. Yeah, Benny. I know. Reading sim is my fave. Don't call me a quitter. I've been doing this for 2.5 hours. It's a lot of reading. My voice can't do it anymore. My throat actually hurts. Who should I host? Kilgore is playing some retro stuff. Yeah, he always plays retro, so I just mean he's streaming right now. Or I could host Stampede Pixie. She's playing To the Moon? I like him a lot. Kildor.
Then that river, she declined treatment for the sake of a lighthouse. Isn't that a bit too extreme?
Yeah, I'll just host him, I guess. Whoa. Ooh, this looks cool. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, I'm wrapping up. I'm pretty tired. I had a long night last night, so... And, like, just all that reading. It's just, it's too much for me, man. La la la. Okay. I'm gonna send over that host now. I'm gonna wrap up. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for putting up with a game that I wasn't planning on streaming because the other two weren't working. You sound like you have a cold. I don't, that's because my voice is broken now from all that reading. I'm gonna make some tea, I think. Getting some PJs. Take it easy. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Tomorrow, probably, maybe. I'll do some more Evil Within tomorrow. Gotta get through that. I gotta see if I can figure out how to fix those games too. Work on that later though. I'll work on that later. Okay, I'm gonna send over that host. Hope you guys have an awesome evening, and I will see you next time. Bye!